Today we'll learn about Christopher Columbus, the heroic explorer who discovered America and proved the Earth was round.
Actually, Columbus was an incompetent buffoon who never even set foot in America.
Hush, hush. We all know Columbus wasn't perfect.
That's an understatement. The real story of Columbus is even worse and weirder than you think. All aboard the Magic Van! First of all, Columbus couldn't have discovered that the Earth was round because in his time, it was already common knowledge.
A globe's for sale. A perfectly ordinary globe's for sale.
Oh, what? Then why did it take until 1492 for anyone to sail the ocean blue?
Simple. Back then, they didn't know the Americas existed, so navigators thought there was no way a ship could make it all the way from Europe to Asia.
So Columbus set sail because he was brave.
Nope, he set sail because he was a doofus who was terrible at math. Instead of trusting the experts, Columbus believed the Earth was thousands of miles smaller than it actually was.
Fools, all of them! My math says the Earth is teeny tiny and shaped like a pear, and at the top it has a succulent nipple.
He actually believed that?
Yes, I actually believe this. I can sail from Europe to India in a matter of days.
That's extremely wrong.
It took years for Columbus to convince the king and queen his plan didn't suck. But competition in the spice trade was getting intense. So Ferdinand and Isabella were desperate to find a new way to get their fix.
The Earth is tiny and also a pear. Give me money, please.
This man is an idiot.
I don't care.
Fine. Give this more on the bare minimum. 90 dumb men and 3 dumb sheeps. If you die, who cares?
Right. And that's when Columbus showed them all and became a hero.
But
You know what happens to mouthy students?
they get extra credit?
I turn them into iguanas. Say hi, Edward. Kill me. Now, children, that's the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, the ships Columbus sailed to discover America.
I'm really sorry, Ms. Dazzle, but Columbus never set foot in America. Of all the modern-day countries Columbus made it to, like Cuba, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic, none of them were in the United States.
Okay, fine. Then Columbus discovered Haiti and the Dominican Republic.
Sure he did, if you don't count the 250,000 Taino people that lived there already.
Occupied? Someone lives here?
Right, I know this part. He thought he made it to India.
Aha! This is India, and these people are Indians. I will be rich in spices and gold.
What a silly mistake.
Yes, if by silly you mean brutal, and by a mistake you mean one of several. The Taino treated Columbus and his crew with the utmost hospitality.
Hug?
We need reinforcements!
Columbus repaid their kindness by returning with 17 ships and 1,200 men so he could enslave the Taino and steal their gold. There was only one problem. They didn't have any.
You, gold, now!
Oh, I want to help, but what is gold?
This infuriated Columbus, and soon he and his crew began to slaughter them.
This is very inappropriate for me to see.
Columbus's regime was so senselessly brutal that by 1542, the Taino population on the island had fallen to 200.
I can't believe it. I had no clue that Columbus was this cruel. But after this, he must have gone on to do great things.
Nope, this was literally all he did. He didn't discover America, and he didn't prove the Earth was round. He just bounced around the Caribbean, slaughtered a bunch of innocent people, and died thinking he had made it to India.
Hashtag no regrets.
Holy crow. Then why do we learn about this guy in school?
Oh, great question. For centuries, Columbus was a historical footnote. But that changed in 1828 when Washington Irving, the author of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and other tall tales, wrote the first English-language biography of Columbus.
Columbus was a murderous failure? That ain't gonna sell copies. Let's say he was a brave genius who proved the Earth was round and discovered America.
Seems believable.
And Irving's myth caught on big time when some new Americans were searching for a hero. Throughout the 19th century, a surge of Italians immigrated to America, where they were persecuted and treated like they didn't belong.
This is New York City! We hate pizza, and we'll always hate pizza.
To help prove Italians were a part of the American story, Italian Americans latched onto Irving's version of Columbus and promoted it like crazy.
Hey, we know a guy that knows a guy that discovered America, and he's Italian.
I guess Italians are great. This guy deserves his own holiday.
And that's the true story of how an incompetent and vicious nobody became the national hero we celebrate today.
Hey, Adam here. If you like that, be sure to watch all new episodes of Adam Ruins Everything every Tuesday at 10 on True TV.
Call it the Silk Road, where frankincense and gold and silk and all the different merchandise that used to develop the economy of that area and also the area of the colonial masters, because England did go into India. That is why you have India and Pakistan separate, because of that invasion. But Columbus wanted to go to India by traveling westwards. And he went to King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella to sponsor the journey. And when they agreed, he wanted sailors, but the normal sailor in Spain wouldn't go with him. They wouldn't travel with him because they fear that they might fall off the earth. Because they thought that the world was flat. We see that there's a new trust on the market, going around, where people now is proving to you that the world is flat. A lot of arguments and so-called evidence is coming out now that the world is flat. Anyway, they thought that the world, if you go too far out into the horizon, we know there's a horizon now, them never know that them would have fall off. And also, monsters and things out there would have get rid of you. So them never want to follow him, but Christopher Columbus was a very learned sailor. Because he used to move with the North Africans, the black people, and the Arabs who was in that part of the world in North Africa. They knew about sailing and movement of ship and all them things there. So them could have instruct Christopher Columbus. So him never did really want to follow the backwardness of the Spanish people. But Christopher Columbus had to get people to come with him. He was given 3 ships. 3 ships he was given. And Christopher Columbus had to go into the prisons of Spain. A history I talk about here. Christopher Columbus went into the prisons in Spain and promised the prisoners that if they would make the voyage with him, they would reap the reward of gold. Because gold was the eyeball of Europeans at that time, outside of, eventually it became sugar and rum. But gold was what they were searching for. So, he promised them land and he promised them gold and good living. So the prisons of Spain was emptied out. All the murderers, rapists, all the degenerates that was not able to be a part of the Spanish society. Christopher Columbus decided that he would carry them on the voyage. So he took these degenerates, put them on the ship, them on his way to India. And he voyaged and voyaged and voyaged till him reach land. And Christopher Columbus, in landing, thought that he was in India. Christopher Columbus and his men thought that they were in India. Española. Because the people that they saw resembled the pictures of people that they knew who came from India. But these people, according to their scripts that them left, were almost looking uncivilized. And in that civilizing mode, they decided they would Christianize these people. Because to the Europeans, if you are not a Christian, you are an uncivilized being. So Christopher Columbus and his men decided that they would civilize these people. So them land and stick the flag of Spain in the ground in the name of King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. And these people who were known as Taínos brought their fruits and them food and everything to give these strange looking people, these strangers that ventured from across the sea. And when I was going to school, I thought that the Spaniards and the so-called Arawak, as we were told they were called, was having a conversation about land and all these things. But as a little youth, I never ever thinking in my mind about wait. The Spaniards never know the language of the Taínos. Now the Taínos know the language of the Spaniards, so them could never have a conversation. What transpired was these men have guns and bayonets, and the indigenous people of this part of the world had fruits to give. And they were slaughtered because of their look. These Spaniards thought that they would be killed because they were looking like, according to their eyes, savages without the heart of God in them, Jesus Christ. So they came with them guns and them bayonets to civilize a people who was here living according to how people should live, in tune with nature, having them rituals and them different ideas of society and how society should be, and their institutions. And Christopher Columbus, in his quest for finding gold, he never find none, but he carry back some of the natives to Spain. And he eventually make some more voyages, and him end up in a Jamaica, Cuba, all of these little islands, and find himself in it. Land up on the shores of Massachusetts in America. And what transpired is not something that neither the Taínos, nor the Native Americans, nor the Africans who came after would want to record in their history book as something that was wonderful and beautiful and what was a great part of their history. The atrocities that was placed on these people is still embedded in the soil of these land, these captured land. And Christopher Columbus Christopher Columbus, after all of that, never find a goal. And there was a time when them decide that them going to send some of these people to look for gold, and anybody who never come home with gold, them would chop off them wrists. Chop off them wrists. Or them foot. Don't have the foot part there. Them would chop it off if you don't find a gold. And them still never find a gold. And thousands, if not millions, of Taínos was here when Christopher Columbus came. And when Columbus leave, there was a couple hundred. Christopher Columbus devastated this part of the world. Disease that these people never know was introduced to them in the land. The Taínos were murdered, raped, and all sorts of disease take them over. And when Christopher Columbus leave and went back to Spain, eventually, Christopher Columbus was arrested and imprisoned. Did we hear that in the history books? Yes, I hear that in my history book. I don't know about your history book. Christopher Columbus was imprisoned in Spain. He was not a national hero in Spain. He was not a person that Spaniards were taught in their history book to look up to. He was one of the most cruel and evilest person that ever come across this part of the earth. Christopher Columbus. We want you to remember what them teach you in history class when it come on to this part of the world. Because Christopher Columbus thought that he was in India. And logically, because he was traveling west, thus the term the West of India. And the people who was living on the... No, that's a serious thing we are talking, you know. I don't even know if Sanjay learned them things in at school, you know, even though she a big master's degree and this a degree and all them things. I think I forget about last week. I just remember, yes, master's degree and all these things. But I don't know if you know this, but Christopher Columbus thought that he was in India. And because he was traveling west, obviously it was the west of India. So therefore the people who was on the land, who was not Indians, was called West Indians. No, think about it. The Taínos was here first, think about it. We come, the English take over the land from the Spaniards, kill off some Spaniards and take over the land, capture land again. White people are kill white people for take well land where it's not for them own. Them still are do it. Jamaica was first occupied according to their history, because we can't even go back farther than that too, because the Taínos was here. Jamaica was occupied by the Spaniards who come and rape and kill the Taínos. Some white people from England kill off some Spaniards when they left here so. When Christopher Columbus gone back to Spain, him left a whole heap of them here so for build up villages and all them something there. The English come and kill them, murder them and murder the other little Taínos where they are and capture the land. So, thief from thief. My mother used to say thief from thief and God laugh. So here are some people who thief the land from the Taínos, and here are some other people come thief the land from them. And them come back, come thief the land from the said people, and the people them come back, come thief the land again. Now imagine this. We don't have to imagine it. Check this. The man make a mistake. How much years ago this happened? 1492? Let me say? 1492. How much years that? I love enough years that. The man make a mistake. And the mistake is repeated over and over and over and over and over and over. And over and over and over. And it's not an over me I talk about, it's over and over and over. The mistake is repeated through the centuries. So you know what happened now? The lie and the mistake become true. The Africans them who come here was never exempted from the label of Indian. So we use African automatically because we land over here to become Indian. We are West Indian according to the mistake. But we never know so it was a mistake. Because it come 300, 400, 500 years. It follow the trail, come right through. And we're there so now. Most of it is not tying us. Most of it come from Africa on some slave ship and reach over here so. And them call we West Indian. And we nyam it up. And we don't ever push a finger in our mouth and vomit it out back. We nyam it up and put drink water and make it digest in a way. And we become West Indian. You can't go tell most Jamaican. I mean, I can't go tell them because you will tell them. Most Jamaican in a Jamaica. If you tell them, say, them are African, it's like you tell them, say, them are dirty dog. If you tell them, say, them are African, them say, look here, me no Rasta, no bring no dirty Rasta foolishness to me. Me no African, me a Jamaican, me a West Indian, me born in the West Indies. How the hell we reach that? How we reach that? We reach that because some people who have the power manipulate history and write the history from their perspective, from their eyes. And we come now and gulp it down. And if you tell a youth in a Jamaica, say him is not a West Indian, him say, I am teacher, teach him that. Because the teacher them accept that as a truth, as a reality, that we are West Indians. Or we become West Indians. When it's Africa, which part of Africa, Indian, them more than Uganda, and them come there so. And remember, say, when name run out all of the Indian, them out of Uganda one at a time. Them name again. So remember him name. But how the hell we become Indian? How the hell the Native American, the indigenous people of America become Indian? How the Aboriginal people then become Indian? How the Amerindian them in Guyana become Indian? Who gave us that label that we now can hug it up and say, we are West Indians? As a matter of fact, we have a university of the West Indies where it's cater for West Indian people. And you come from the West Indies. And when I saw me, I say that when the reality leak and step in, it become the lie. And the lie because it did and beaten away, taught to us, regurgitated. We vomit it sometime and we drink back the vomit. And it become part of our life, part of our understanding of self, part of our thinking. And we call ourselves West Indian, and we don't see nothing wrong with that. No, it not change the price of bread. It not change how we walk, it not change how we talk. But guess what? it have something to do with a collective mind and how our consciousness is directed. How we direct our consciousness to ourselves. The confidence what we're supposed to have in ourselves. Get eaten, you know, like when rat are shooting, pickle. As so we thinking get chew, lickle. Till the little thing, the first chewing, don't seem important. But guess what? It's a serious thing. Them have a way for torture people in a certain eastern country, you know. Them just put some water over your head, you know, and make it drip. Tip by your forehead. Tip. It's a wicked way for torture people that. You ever sleep night yet and hear your water drip? You don't know how you wake, you know. A little thing like a water drip, now the pipe, no, tip, and you say, it's what that? The water, like the pipe turn on, the pipe not turn on, and a little water, tip. It's the most annoying thing. It's more annoying than a man play a big sound system out the road. Because it just annoying, it just go tip. Look here. I got them do to way. Because it's the first tip, we never lock it off. The second tip, and third tip, and the fourth tip, and the fifth tip, oh gosh, man, that time you run go at you like it off. Because you realize you know, how devastating it is to your mind and how you want to sleep. And that is what them do to we now, because we no wake up. We no wake up, you know. We still hear the tip in our head and start love it. Yeah, we start love the tip. Yeah, me a West Indian. Oh, but I come in African. Me never born in Africa, but you never born in India neither. You never born in Africa, but you never born in India. It's India the man did I go and make a roundabout turn. He make a roundabout turn and reach on us, and you now continue now with the roundabout turn with him. And him have you at speed roll like you or you and king. Because I remember him say, because I never know, you know. Him say the four corners of the earth, you know. We know that the earth now have no four corners. Him never know that. But people say, well, you want to say the four corners of the earth. I'm going to lick you from you and make you reach the four corners. We part the corner. Show me one of the corners of them. Where the corner of the earth there. All of these things is language and word that is used. Not really deciding the price of flour, but it decides how you think and how you relate to other things down the line. Like the rat, you chew your things and you left it, then the next man come and chew piece, and then tomorrow man is a rat, but him chew, him yam out the whole of my things. It's done, you know. Your bread gone. Because you really look on it and you say, well, him just chew that part and maybe tomorrow man, we can't slice out that part and eat the rest. And you left the bread there. And him just come back and chew the part where you say that go cut off. And chew the part inside now. And I go in deep in your bread. And that them do to way, you know. The peripheral thinking become the thinking. The major thinking. It starts on the periphery, on the edge. But then now it just nyam become you. So we are not ourselves. We are West Indians. We can't be African. We cannot be African because we never come from Africa. And furthermore, even if we come from Africa, we don't want to identify with Africa because of pure murder and death and destruction and Ebola and disease and this and that and people are starving and all them something. We don't want to identify with that. You know, see it? We want New York. It's so large, you call it 2 times. New York, with big bright lights and this and that and tear up jeans and fingernail push down out there so where you can't even need flour again. Terrible. It's terrible. We're in a serious position. But you know, same like how the slave mill grinds slow according to my brethren, Damien, it's same way the consciousness of a mill we are grind slow too. But guess what? Sure, we confident in that the mill are grind, the confidence mill are grind, and it are grind slow. And we can't forget about the race between the rabbit. And we have to say turkey at them time because Jamaican people don't know when name tortoise. Tortoise will say turkey. The turtle and the rabbit, eh? The turtle and the rabbit are going to race. And the rabbit, you know, the rabbit run fast. The turkey they just screechy. The rabbit pass him long time and gone on the road, but through the rabbit not see him know him say, "Chop, boy, I can't take a rest and eat that tree and, give him a little time." Ratted. The rabbit drop asleep. The turkey just take time and crawl and just pass him and go win the race. By the time he wake up, the race done. We confident that the race is not for the swift, but it's to endure to the end. And we're going to endure because logic says we're not supposed to be here after 400 years of the whole heap of cruelty that them put upon we. We weren't supposed to be here, but we're there still. And if we're there still, tomorrow we're going to be here. We're going to be here tomorrow. And we're there still because our liberation and our freedom must come as African people. And no matter how it look now, no matter how the thing look away, we say we're confident in the victory of good over evil. Haile Selassie said that many years ago. We confident in the victory of good over evil. So when we say we are African, you hear the argument we are going on about who are Jamaican, the politician brother there, what him name? What the boy name again? A PNP man, right? Him a Canadian citizen, him a Grenadian citizen, and him a run for Jamaican, and him a no Jamaican citizenship, him have no Jamaican citizenship, but him a declare him a Jamaican. Because him mother, him father, how it go? Him father Jamaican? One of them must be Jamaican, then all become Jamaican. Oh, because I'm born in Canada. Oh, I'm born in Canada, and Canada is part of the Commonwealth. And that logic say them are used by you. All right. So, how them can accept that? Follow the logics now. I'm born in Canada, but I'm a Jamaican. But him don't have a Jamaican passport. But his parents is him father Jamaican. I think his mother. One of them are Jamaican, one are from Grenada. All right. Follow the logics. Because sometimes them catch you in something and I realize they see something where them put and they see something now them go off flat. The brother born in Canada from Jamaican parents and them come here so come live with film family. Him not have no passport for sure him a Jamaican and him a run for governmental position. Yeah, him a run for no him at PNP. Then, when name they have attack against him? Darrell Vaz. No, Darrell Vaz not attack against him. Who Darrell Vaz attack about? Attack against? The same brother, man. Darrell Vaz up on the radio and make Alabalo over. Anyway, that's beside the point. What I try to say is this. This man is running for a position in government. And him don't have no Jamaican passport. Him never born in a Jamaica. But him claim Jamaica. In other words, you don't have to born in a Jamaica, Jamaica born in a you. You understand? Catch your drift, you know. Him born in Canada, but him a claim Jamaica. And him a run for some high position in a Jamaica. Because him part of the Commonwealth. That means a white guy who's a Canadian can come here so and run, you know, because him is Canadian and part of the Commonwealth. A white people set that up, you know. A white people set up that. It almost logically illogical. Because him set it up. Now, me come now with my little African talk. I mean, say, all right, you're not born in Africa. But you're African. You say, no, I'm not in Africa. I'm never born in Africa. If I call born in a pig pen, him is a cow. Him is no pig. So, the man that who are running at the election, him parents are Jamaican. But guess what? Him born in Canada. But him there so as a Jamaican. And him have all of the things them that are Jamaican. Where you get at Jamaica, guess what? Him don't have no passport. Him have 2 passports and none of them are no Jamaican passport. You know, see the madness. So when we say, no, we are African, I'm going to say, me are not African, me are West Indian. Oh, you become West Indian. Oh, you become a West Indian. You have West Indian passport? You don't have a passport. Is that me I show you? Because the man don't have none. The man don't have none, and according to the law, if you're part of the Commonwealth, you can run in an election if your parents them have a connection with the country. If your parents have a connection with the country, you can have what you call all the things them that is necessary that a Jamaican is there too. So, Columbus, come lick that out away, but them did have law already for a long time. The English did have law to tell you, say, look here, you're a British subject, you belong to we. Part of the Commonwealth is saying that Queen Elizabeth run things and her successors, and whosoever she want to have sex in with, successors, who is his successors. Queen Elizabeth run the thing. The Governor General is our representative here. If you are part of the Commonwealth, you are under the auspices of the Queen. Canada still have the Queen for their money. Canada still have the Queen for their money. You is not a West Indian. You is not an Indian. Indian is Mr. Maharaj. You don't watch here, so we are sell Taiwan things and claim say a Jamaican craft. All the red, gold and green thing where they take from Mexico and take from China and bring those. And the Indian them do that. If you go down there, so when tourists come here, the little boats of slave them will have them van, get some money from them and carry them, go to the thing instead of carry them go to the craft market. Them carry them go over to the Maharaj, it's this and Maharaj and that. And furthermore, you don't name Maharaj. And the reason why you name Mr. White is because you never know, so you have a name Ukumba, Lumumba, you don't want to call those names neither because you say, what kind of name that? You prefer name Mr. Brown and Mr. White. Oh, the hell you name Mr. White, are you black? Because we in Africa, when we name ourselves, when our children, when our parents name us, they name it according to your character and your personality. Sometimes they name you on the day you was born. Like when we talk about Kwame Nkrumah, you know which day Kwame Nkrumah born because Kwame is Saturday. So you said that youth was born on a Saturday. It's a scientific approach to things, you know. You name a child according to his personality. You don't look on TV and say Kardashian with a big bottom or cock out so, and she have millions and you say you're going to name a picnic Kardashian. No, it's not to African people name. That's how European people make we do it. We are say it's very important that we understand how them get we caught up in a certain talking and certain ways to look on things. For them logics is not necessarily the logics of the world. It's the logics according to their definition of themselves. We must find the logic that define we as a people, as African people. And it is very important now that we understand how important it is to claim that part away. That Africanness, that part away. Because soon, trust me, the way them are set the thing now, it crisscross. It crisscross. That only them can identify themselves. Look more, we can identify ourselves. We still can identify ourselves now. Look on the TV. You ever see the people that read news on TV? I say, oh, it's what make down them people there. What the hell them are used for them face? Why is it that them look so? You tell me say so much shine upon them face that when them come on TV, them have to look so. Then when white people up on TV, them look so because them done white already, them fit into the camera. There are ways to light black people on the camera that these camera people don't know because them never go to school where studies say black people must not look like white people on television. Black people must look like black people and white people must look like white people. And there's ways to do it. But them never study that. African people is African people. It's just simple. China people don't look like white people on TV. And the matter, them cannot look like white people. Them face round differently. And if them stand up and you look behind them, you don't see nothing. And them usually short. I never see a Chinaman tall like Usain Bolt. You ever see a Chinaman tall like Usain Bolt? One time, yes. It's very difficult to find a Chinaman who look like tall like Usain Bolt. Believe you me. But you have people, you have black people who shorter than you. Yes. I go to Africa and see some pygmy. Them call them, hey, when them, hey, you wouldn't believe see big people them, you know. I not talk about freak of nature, you know. Like some people you see on TV, you know, we have this, them little short people who are going with them antics in America and them come. We talk about real people in Africa. And some little man and some little woman. When you see them look like picnic. You look like a whip of picnic around up along the yard. But them is people, big people. You understand? Not freak of nature. What we have done as a freak of nature, because black people don't want to see them African. It's a freak. It's a freak if a black person come out in a yard and have him fingernails stretched gone out there so, and the ear a horse ear, and the bottom enough for them own, them breast enough for them own, them lipstick enough, I mean, them eyebrow enough for them own, them eyelash enough for them. That is freak of nature. Put pant up, you know, them have tear-up pants, them have dress out, them have them no clothes on. Them go and dance, a light fire underneath them crutches, and do all sorts of things. That is freak of nature. But that is where we're there. We come like this and be like this because there is low self-esteem. And Marcus Garvey say, and we're going to repeat it over and over and over and over. If you have no confidence in yourself, you're twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you have won even before you have started. The words of Marcus Messiah Garvey.
Attention all taxi.
Time is 3 minutes to 11. Yes, this is the cutting edge. And I really want to repeat a little part of the thing we just talk about. The man named Alexis. Alexis, him name? What him name? Dr. Shane Alexis. Dr. Shane Alexis is a PNP who are run in a election in a Jamaica to represent Jamaican people. He was born in Canada. He have a Canadian passport. And he also have a Grenadian passport. He don't have a Jamaican passport. He don't have a Jamaican passport. But he's Jamaican because his parents come from Jamaica. That is nationalism you talk about. Nationalism you talk about, but you know what we are talking about. We are talking about Pan-Africanism. But that we are talking about, Pan-Africanism. We're not talking about nationality. Because we all come on the same boat and then drop off over there. So some drop off at Trinidad, some drop off at Haiti, some drop off here. So the whole away come from the same place. And we never come here with no visa, no passport. I can't to my brother Junior reads upon him song. So we claim that this land here, them land here where them have run here, so a capture land where them kill one another for and kill we in the middle. And take away the land now and put we upon it now. And we are declare West Indian. You know, this is where we're sick. We're sick. We're sick if we continue. After we know in our history, say the guy make a mistake. And after we now know and see who is Indian in a Jamaica. And we, the African stock, will come here, so not like how the Indian them come here. Because them never come here tie up on no slave ship. For them, mothers never get pregnant on slave ship. That because them never want to get the baby on the slave ship and reach us, so them throw themselves and the baby off of the ship. Them rather go down in the water. The water, a grave of the Atlantic Ocean, and rape, take away everything from we. And say we are not human beings. We are, so in America, them say 1/5 of a human. And we know, latch on the lie or the mistake. I could say a lie. I could say a lie. I could say it's a mistake Columbus make. Columbus make a mistake. And we use the mistake to define ourselves as a people. And this boasted slave them on you, so we tell you, say, it don't matter. That don't make no difference. If you think you can go in a Mr. Maharaj's place and call him German or call him Indian, not Indian, sorry, call him Finnish or Swiss, him not gonna accept that. Him is an Indian. Him come from India, him parents come from India. What we are say? We are say African people have to wake up. Wake up. Because the thing start out with a lie, so it must continue with the lie. Because you can't start out with a lie and end up with truth. You can't start out with a lie and then at the bottom, because you have to go tell the next lie to redeem the first lie. That is how it go. Until somebody catch you in something, it's like you have to go find something else, you go justify the next something and justify the next something. The only thing is that when you tell a lie to somebody, most of the time the person don't know it's a lie. You know, see it? So true don't know it's a lie. In order to amplify what you did say in the beginning, that him can more believe you more, you tell a next lie. And a next lie and a next lie. But it's still a lie. Keep on, even if him catch you or not, it's still a lie you tell. But him don't know it's a lie. So it's we that I stop the lie where we never know it's a lie. But here we know. We get more conscious of our surroundings. We have books and we can read them English language. We can read about them history and ours. And we fools if we have all of these information in front of us and still refuse to dig into it and believe all sorts of madness. Because belief cannot inspire you to reality. It is information that cause inspiration. And the less information you have, you're going to turn to ridiculous thinking, superstitious thinking. And when you put it down, you came say that is inspiration. The greatest people, the people who have inspired people more is people who have information. Not people who just go along and sit down and say, yes, this might be that and believe this and believe that. No. Inspiration comes from information. And if you don't have the information, it's going to lead you to superstition. So most of it gone into some superstitious belief system and create a sort of illusion. And when them give you for them reality, it become our reality now. And we start to amplify their reality with madness. Because we don't have the information, we start to now deal with superstition and add superstition upon the belief and superstition upon the more belief and the more belief. And then we turn out like damn idiots. And we can't get nowhere. Because we don't recognize that it's a lie. It's a lie them tell we. For years we tell them on this lie. This is the cutting edge. And IRFM, we want Toronto Jamaica Roots and Culture, and we're going to interview brethren from the Bobo Hill, because some terrible things going up at the Bobo Hill, and we want to find out what really caused some man to go up there and fire up, shut up there, and burn down a whole heap of the place up there, the Bobo Hill. So we're going to play Jamaica Roots and Culture. This is the Cutting Edge. My mistake, you know. All right, so we'll go back again. Here we go now.
Welcome to Jamaican Roots and Culture. I'm Pat Clark. Jamaica's historic past is punctuated by struggles and rebellion of disenfranchised people. The anniversary of the Morant Bay Rebellion is October 11. It began with a protest march to the courthouse by hundreds of peasants led by preacher Paul Bogle in Morant Bay. The peasants were protesting injustice and widespread poverty. Most freedmen were prevented from voting by high poll taxes, and their living conditions had worsened following crop damage by floods, cholera and smallpox epidemics, and a long drought. Some of the protesters were armed with sticks and stones. It is said that a woman from among the protesters was the first person to throw a stone. After 7 men were shot and killed by the volunteer militia, the protesters attacked and burnt the courthouse and nearby buildings. A total of 25 people died initially over the next 2 days. Peasants rose up across St. Thomas in the East Parish and controlled most of the area. In response, Governor Edward John Eyre declared martial law in the area, ordering in troops to hunt down rebels. They killed many innocent black people, including women and children, with an initial death toll of more than 400. According to the soldiers, they slaughtered all before them, men, women, or children. In the end, the soldiers killed 439 black Jamaicans directly, and they arrested 354 more who were later executed, many without proper trials. Bogle was executed either the same evening he was tried or the next morning. Other punishments included flogging of more than 600 men and women, including some pregnant women. Some of the protesters also received long prison terms. The soldiers burnt thousands of homes belonging to black Jamaicans without any justifiable reason, leaving families homeless throughout the parish. This was the most severe suppression of unrest in the history of the British West Indies, exceeding incidents during slavery years. Believing that the blacks could not have planned such events themselves, Governor John Eyre had Representative George William Gordon arrested. The mulatto Jamaican businessman and politician was wealthy and well known. He was openly critical of the governor and his policies. Eyre believed that Gordon had been behind the rebellion. Despite having very little to do with it, Gordon was quickly convicted and executed. Though he was arrested in Kingston, where martial law had not been declared, Eyre had him transferred to Morant Bay, where he could be tried under martial law. The trial and execution of Gordon via martial law, following the excesses of suppressing the rebellion, added to the outrage felt by many in Britain. They felt there were serious constitutional issues by Eyre's bringing Gordon under martial law. They were concerned about whether British dependencies should be ruled under the government of law or through military license. With a speedy trial, Gordon was convicted quickly and hanged on October 23, just 2 days after his trial had begun. He and William Bogle, Paul Bogle's brother, were both tried together and executed at the same time. The violent suppression and numerous executions generated a fierce debate in England, with some protesting about the unconstitutional actions of the governor John Eyre. The rebellion and its suppression remained controversial, and it is frequently debated by specialists in black and colonial studies. When news of the Jamaican government's response to the rebellion broke in Britain, with hundreds killed and hundreds more arrested and being executed, it generated fierce debate. Public figures of different political affiliations lined up to support or oppose Governor Eyre's actions. Opponents of Eyre established the Jamaica Committee in 1866, which called for Eyre to be tried for mass murder. More radical members of the committee wanted him tried for the murder of British subjects, such as George William Gordon, under the rule of law, stating that Eyre's actions taken under the guise of martial law were illegal. When Eyre returned to Britain in August 1866, his supporters held a banquet in his honor, while opponents at a protest meeting the same evening condemned him as a murderer. Twice, Eyre was charged with murder, but the cases never proceeded to trial. Some historians have argued that the Morant Bay uprising was no more than a local riot, but in its wake, the Jamaican House of Assembly renounced its charter. The national government made Jamaica a crown colony under direct rule by Great Britain. The Morant Bay Rebellion is credited as having paved the way for the establishment of just practices in the island's courts. The rebellion is said to have brought about a change in the official attitude, which made possible the social and economic improvement needed for the development of the country. And now, to end Jamaican roots and culture, here's our famous quotation from the Black diaspora. "You cannot crack a pebble. It excludes death. It will slay giants, but never bear children." The words of Kamau Brathwaite. For Jamaican Roots and Culture, I'm Pat Clark.
Full moon so bright, a tropical delight, happy native dancing.
Portland's best kept secret. Nestled amongst Portland's unmatchable flora and fauna is the beautiful Bayview Eco Resort and Spa. Air-conditioned rooms from standard to superior and junior suites. Restaurant and bar, full spa and services, free Wi-Fi. Ask about our weekly specials. Call us 993-3118 or 622-3245. Escape to serenity. Bayview Eco Resort and Spa.
Stop up and win again with Supreme Ventures and Digicel. From now till November 2, Samsung Smart TVs, smartphones, cash, and all the prices are up for grabs.
Just top up with $200 or more Digicel credit at only Supreme Ventures terminals for a chance to win a 43-inch Samsung Smart TV, Samsung smartphones, Digicel credit, or cash.
Check your nearest Supreme Ventures location or text 571 to 137 for details and top up today. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Western Jamaica. It's Autoway Auto Parts and Supplies Limited for your new and used Japanese auto parts for Honda, Nissan, Toyota, Mitsubishi, and more. We stock a wide variety of new and used Japanese parts. We are a certified used car dealer. Call us today at 610-5183. Located at Martha Brae, Falmouth, Trelawney. Call us now or come in today. We are your used Japanese auto parts specialists. At Autoway, every day is a sale day.
Keisha, last night me take your husband no a bus, and even though the road bad, the bus drives smooth. Why him do to it? Well, him say some new shocks him buy name Perfect Choice, me dear. Perfect Choice. Him say him buy them for almost half the price of the other brand. Enough savings that in these hard times, you know, me love. You can get them at any leading auto parts island-wide. Boy, me have to go tell Jeffrey about them shocks here, cause when him dip on the smooth road, him car still a shake. So thanks, here. You say Perfect Choice, right? Yeah, him really make the perfect choice, me love. Just like when him choose me.
It's a Campari thing.
Get ready to pop style. The search for Jamaica's most stylish party people is on. Campari Pop Style, Jamaica's first ever party series where you can win over $300,000 just for showing off your style. Campari specials, celebrity judges, and music by the hottest DJs in Jamaica. Hosted by me, your fluffy diva, Miss Kitty.
Saturday, October 14th at Something Fishy, 29A West Park Avenue. Gates open at
9 p.m. Dress Campari fabulous. Must be 18 years and older to drink responsibly.
Buzz Out Promotion presents the third staging of Heroes in Action. Saturday, October 14. Mountainside Playfield, St. Elizabeth featuring Beanie Man, Nesbeth Cocotti, Ura, General Trees, Patrick Badu and Aisha Marks. Music by Kingster Goff, the Uncle Rubber Dub Stone. So bring your queen and leave your machine and let's celebrate with music and Heroes in Action. Mountainside Playfield, St. Elizabeth, Saturday, October 14. Admission 1,000 before 1,200 after.
Sponsored by Wow Entertainment and Car Sales, Gulf View Hotel, Catherine's Peak, Cows, and LP Azar.
On Monday, October 16th, it's a big Heroes Day bash. It's Sharky's Seafood Festival. I'll be there alongside a man called Agent Sasko. Tommy Lee's part of my doves, a man called Tanto Black. Sharky's Seafood, October 16th, that's Monday, Heroes Day.
Research shows that people are more inclined to act on radio ads more than most other advertising media, including newspaper, billboards, flyers, town criers, and even social media. IRFM has been the clear #1 radio station in Jamaica, making us your best outlet to get your message across locally and in the diaspora via irfm.net. Come talk with us and let us help you highlight your business for bigger and better returns. Come into any of our offices in Kingston at 1B Courtney Walsh Drive in Halfway Tree, in Ocho at Coconut Grove, or in Montego Bay at Shop 12, Block B10, Fairview Town Center. If you wish, we'll come to you. Just call us at 974-5051, 960-1074, or 979-6998. IRFM, the widest listenership, the best reach across the island and beyond, and the cheapest Jamaican radio station based on cost per thousand. The people have made us #1. It's time you put your ads where your customers and potential customers are and watch your business soar with us.
Thursday afternoon from 12:15 to 1:15 on Easy Skanking. We heights up heart, mind, and soul to soul.
Then testosterone element. Show the wicked nation. Live world.
The IRFM outside broadcast team with a big Irie machine and the Island Breeze team will be in Portmore this Saturday, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Mastermax Supermarket, Lot 20A West Tradeway behind the Portmore Mall. Lots of fun, giveaways, prizes and excitement. So come on down and take advantage of the discount on Super Kids, Reggae Buzz and Crisp Water. That's a live outside broadcast at the Mastermax Supermarket behind the Portmore Mall. This Saturday, live on the nation's #1 station, IRFM. See you there.
The Planning Institute of Jamaica will be hosting a dialogue for development on the Sustainable Development Goals this Thursday at the Montego Bay Convention Center from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Tune into the 107s as we bring you up-to-date information on the Sustainable Development Goals on the Jamaica we want, leaving no one behind. That's live link from the Planning Institute of Jamaica Dialogue for Development Lecture Series this Thursday on the nation's #1 IRFM.
This is the Cutting Edge on RFM. We're there with you. We're there with you next Wednesday. Now, I don't know how much people know, but an incident happened up at a compound where people call the Bobo Hill. This is really the Ethiopian Africa Black International Congress Church of Salvation. Them usually call it Bobo Shanti. We want to talk to Priest Rodolph Bailey about what really transpired up there. Blessed?
Blessed love my Lord, honor, glorify.
Yeah, man, give thanks, man.
Give thanks, my Lord, give thanks for life, and to have it more abundantly.
All right, look here now. We hear that the main service building and some of the living quarters were burnt out on Friday morning between 6 and 6:30 a.m. The guardhouse with the solar system was set on fire. The office with all the documents from 1958, when the Congress was formed, were burned. Computer, PA system, chairs. The conference room was completely burnt out. I mean, we're going to brethren.
It's a mystery, my lord. It's just like how you meditate. What happened is the same thing. Most of us saying, what really happened. Because Friday morning, we have roll call every day. So this particular Friday morning, last Friday morning, when I got up, just a little bit after 6, but the roll call was in process. It was in progression still. I came down to the guardhouse. I saw this guy behind me. So I heard him complaining, and him said to me, not me, him complaining, him say, these Bobo keep, this killing him animal. So I turned to him and said, brethren, honorable, you know that, I think the brethren, the priest, I'm not hurt your animal, because me hear the goat a cry. Last week, and me hear it a cry this week again. What happens is that these goats, come up and them go underneath the house bottom, and the bottom of the houses are low. And then they get stuck there and trying to get out, and sometimes hurt themselves. And this was exactly what happened to one of the goat. The goat went there, get stuck under there because the rain falling, and then couldn't come out. So when the guy left where I was now, it seems as if him go and find that the goat was dead, so him get mad. And then him came back down, light the priest, King Emmanuel, where it cut the place where he used to live. Them brethren, we call it the palace. Him light the palace, him light the bed, His Majesty bed of fire. Him light the throne, and him light the rod. And then him come, he must fire and shot before that still,
Oh, him have gone to see him brethren where the goat them?
My lord?
The same brethren who own the goat.
The same brethren are claim that we're killing him goat. Yeah, the same brethren.
Him have gone for fire shot up.
Yeah, man. From him coming fire and shot, man. Fire and shot.
All right, wait. Let me ask you a question. The brethren, the one them up on the hill, see the same brethren who did a complain about the goat. Is him same one fire shot them?
Yeah, man. Him alone come and do him thing, man. A one man come and do it, Only one man me see. And most people only see one man. We don't know.
How much ones it there when all these gunshot are fire and the burning down are going?
Everyone, man. All the people them them gates. So only the people who came out for roll call service. Almost all of the houses them are people inside of the empresses them, the children them are there, and the brethren them, priests and prophet and visitors.
All right, so you say him start to fire shot and light the house and all them,
Him light His Majesty the palace first, what we call the palace.
Yeah.
And then him come down to the office and reload him gun.
What?
Yeah, and reload him gun, and then him light the officer fire.
So when did I fire the gun to?
Whenever any one of us come out and tell him not to do that.
Him fire shot?
A priest come out and tell him, say, my lord, you can't burn down the office like that, in the conference room. And him say, must get out of him face and fire 3 shots over him head.
Okay.
Yeah, so him light the office and the conference room, and then him left there so now, and go light the guardhouse with the solar system on top of it. And when him light the guardhouse with the solar system on top of it, him come now over where this roll call was going on. And hard of us to stop the roll call. But anyway, we never really take him words till we continue doing what we're doing. And when him realized that we're not stopping, him turned to one of the priests and said to him, he must get out, or he must fully why me here. Well, I must leave the hill, or I must get out, left there so. But anyway, the police keep him ground. And then him leave there now and go and burn down the priest's house, that same priest's house, and another priest's house.
All right, but may I ask you something, Bridget? That Bridget, they usually, him living in the area?
Him a goat man. If him have goat, him not in the community, him live in the community. And
it's not the first him come up on top of the hill. He's a big man, like, when I say big man,
No, I like a youth them, man. I like a youth them for them mother younger than most of we, man. I like a youth them, Like
when you say little youth, we are talking about
21, 22 years
of age. 20s. You say me I'm 20s?
Yes, early 20s, early 20s.
All right. So what is happening now? What I do now? What happening?
Well, we just, making, letting people aware of what is happening and the oppression, that, is cast upon us. because of misunderstanding, you know.
So the police come up there?
Yes, the police came and some of the brethren police them went up to the, you know, where the, you know, actually where the guy went, and we showed them, and the people said that way, and they went up there, about 5 or 6 of them, but, you know, within half an hour or said 20 minutes, you know, about half an hour they came back.
So where the brethren they know? Them not hold him?
No, man, them not go look for him. Them never really go look for him. Them just walk up, they go see what go on, because probably them just leave there, and if they wanted to, you know, to you know, get them, they would have spread themselves out, but they remain in one position.
All right, so what is the next move for the them now? What going to happen now?
Continue to ask for freedom, redemption, international repatriation, and reparation, or we call it compensation, because that is why we are there on holy ground, you know, so that black people can, you know.
So the item now will start build back the place?
Yes, because, we heard that sounds. I don't know where the sound came from, but, you know, so they said, Wednesday, someone said that 100, the Wednesday before it happened, that 100 man are going to come build the place. And Friday morning, it burned down.
Come again, 100 man are come build the place?
Yeah, if they come up there, if they come build up the place, and by Friday, that is Wednesday, the word go out, you know.
So 100 man are come build the place?
And then by Friday morning, no, the place burned down.
So which man them say that? Which man them say 100 man are come build the place?
You know, me not know really, you know, me just hear the word. The word keep going around. Keep going around.
Yeah,
you know,
somebody are trying to put mysticism to that now. All right, so tell me something now. The place, I mean, like, I can't tell me ears like a serious burning going there.
Yeah, man, the heart, the brother burn out our heart, man. He burn out the heart of the congressman.
1958 documents.
He burn the office, he burn the conference room, he burn the father mansion, where the father the rest. And he burn out the guard room, and we just put in the solar system. Less than a month, now the solar system go up. That we not have, you know, you understand, because we used to have Delco. And it, you know, the amount of gas that it, you know, that we have to buy for it, you know. We put in a little solar system and it costs us a lot of money. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's the big guy come and light it right. After him light the office and the conference room, him light the gatehouse. So that means him deliberate and know what he's doing.
Yeah. Wow. So now we're...
It is funny, Honorable. Very funny, you know, that these things could happen. And we are not troublemakers. Everyone know what our mission, our objectives are. That, you know, we're working for freedom, redemption, and international repatriation home to Africa. Because slave ground we on.
Yeah, all right. Let me ask you something. The brethren who do it, him have any connection with anybody up there?
Not what I know of, you know, not what I know of.
I mean, you ever hear him come in conflict with anybody up there before now?
I am not sure, because what happened about a couple months ago, or maybe 2 months or less ago, him complained that we kill him goat up there. And what happened was that he get paid for it. He got paid for it. But, you know,
Double Luna Giant. Where is him get paid for the goat?
Yeah, Double Luna Giant, if you understand what I mean.
Yes.
Far in excess of what it value.
Yes.
And then at the same time, we had the members abroad wanted to send contribution to the tabernacle. So we opened an account and gave them the account number. And the account came up to about $300,000. And I heard that, you know, I don't know how true it is, I heard that them say that money belonged to them, because it come for them goat. So, you know, hold on
the brethren, hold on there. The brethren is not a bobo. The brethren who do this thing is a bobo.
No, I'm not a bobo. No, man, it's not a bobo.
So if it's not a bobo.
We grow up around with.
Yeah, so how him knows the money come for build tabernacle to say a fee money?
Anything that happen up there, them know immediately. If a visitor, if a school bus come past them down the road and come up.
Them road come up there?
What happened by the bus leave, them can tell you exactly what happened. So if the teacher come and drop a contribution of $1,000, them know right away, and them come for them. Yeah, that is how it works. Them come for them. and can tell you how much the person.
No, when you said them, when you said them, and the youth you are talking about, when you said them, where you talking? You mean the people them down at the bottom?
No, man, it's a group of youth, you know. It's a group of youth, and one youth, you know, that Friday man is only one come. But usually 5 or 7 of them have them gone, and, you know.
And they come up there?
Yeah, them pass through the gate almost every day, man.
Yeah, I look money and thing.
No, them pass through the yard and go up and where them live on top over the camp.
Them pass, you pass, so go back for them yard.
Right, so whenever them do anything and them come up, them come through the yard. So we have to leave the side gate open for them all the while. Because if we don't leave the side gate open for them threaten whoever is there to kill them. Yeah, that is how them do it, yeah. Because them kill a priest couple, you know, less than a year now. Because the priest said the gate for close and them not to walk through the yard with them gun. Because whenever you come through any gate, you're supposed to pray. And when them come, them just gone, see, just, you know, well, you know, push the gate and gone, you know. In them kill, them give the youth a whole heap of shot in them head, the priest.
I think I remember that thing there.
Right, exactly, right. Because the priest, you know, them claim same and lock the gate on them, and him tell them, all the man them build the fence. Them tell them not to build, not to close no gate, you know, show them where the gate
so
must be.
So all of them youth, you know, is surrounding the area where
them born and grow down at the bottom of the hill, man. Every one of them, man. Everybody know the youth, them, you know. Most people know people that a youth or pass every day, you know. A youth or everyone out of the camp, when them go down the road, them pass them every day. Pass them house and all, wherever they are. So I know them are no stranger.
Yeah. So when I ask where the item I'm going to know, I talk about in terms of protection, you know, it's really that, but...
Yes, because, you know, the only protection we have would be the police.
Yes.
So, you know, but the police, we tell the police everything because the guy claimed that he was going to come back after him burn out the lighting system. He claimed that he was going to come back in the night.
For the what?
And it will be weeping and mourning. But luckily, some little youth, you know, intervene. Some little youth, you know, some youth who grew up in the area. And, you know, more intelligent, them intervene.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, nothing never really happened. But everything is still on edge because you don't know when those brethren will turn back. Like you hear me talking to you here now.
Yeah.
You know, if you get mad and come in or what, you understand? Because them don't want you to say anything, you know. You understand?
Yeah.
That's I mean, probably I'm the only person who you could have called and ask any question or answer you.
Yeah.
Because I appear scared. You understand? Everyone scared of life because Friday, lots of the people them pack up and leave.
Oh, from over the hill.
Because them threaten them so them to leave the hill.
Oh, the brethren, him alone tell everybody to leave.
Yeah, right. But maybe he's not him alone in agreement with those things, you understand? But should him take it upon himself to be the leader. And to come and do that, you know, and to claim, you know, that him powerful and bad, you know? Right, exactly.
Wow, brethren, I don't know what to say, but I say the I them need to deal with it intelligently.
Yeah, that is what we have been doing all along. That is why, you know, it not get out of hand already, you know.
Yeah.
But them, you know, the people them want the place or whatever it is, you know, or, you know, they want to see the work of, you know, see the Melchizedek work stop. You know, the teachings of, you know, of repatriation stop. Them don't want to hear it. Yeah. Because that's the only thing I can claim is that they don't want to hear we teach, you know, that black people to return to Africa. Those who want to go home. You know, because this is not our homeland.
You know, the other thing, you know, Bridget, I tell you, them because you know business about if you have preached about go back to Africa or not, you know, them talk about something different, you know, you understand?
Right, exactly.
Them have no respect for that.
Bleaching and,
them
you
not
know,
think that them say, boy, we don't really want to go back to Africa and them boy, they don't talk about Africa, we could go down and go shoot up the place. No, them not think that way there.
Right.
Different thinking.
Exactly.
You understand? And we have to figure it out. We have to figure it out. Brethren, as me I say, you have to really work. You have to work it out. Believe you me, you have to work out and intelligently.
Truth, my lord.
Yeah,
and
intelligently.
Just give me a minute, just to use the media as, you know, because it brought to our attention that since the burning down of the camp, there are people who are soliciting contribution for rebuilding. But, yes, on a wide scale. And we at the camp, the headquarters, don't know anything about that. So any contribution that anyone decided from them heart to make, there's a bank account there that they can put it to.
Yeah. All right, I can tell you something, brethren. You them things that work out now. Apart from the documents them,
right,
where it's historical,
yes.
You see when them things happen, the thing will come after that is much better than the one where they did it before.
Well, hopefully,
I tell you, this is the building where the item are going to build now. It's much greater and much more acceptable than where the item did have.
Hopefully, my lord.
Yes,
hopefully, because,
it's just that they can't get back the papers them and the documents them. Because the documents them is very, very important to the whole scheme.
Exactly. Even a plot that His Majesty grandson gave us about 3 months ago. Even that plot burned up inside there and other medals that, the king, other things that we had there, other valuable things, all burn up too. Not only the documents them alone, but, other
build forward, though. They will build forward. You know them way there?
Hopefully, my lord, because, no matter what, we have no intention of leaving that spot until when the ships, when the ships come into the harbor.
All right, so give thanks, Bridget.
My lord, blessed, glorify and honor. And give thanks for your time, my lord.
Yeah, man, every time.
Blessed,
keep informed and up to date we're going, yeah?
Yes, honorable, we will. Glorify. Give thanks.
I remember I just talked on the radio a while ago, yeah?
Yes, my lord. You give thanks and, all blessings and all.
No, you understand what I say?
What? Could you just repeat again, honorable?
You must remember that you broadcast this thing on the radio a while ago.
Oh, yes, my lord, I'm aware of that.
All right.
That is natural, so the world listening.
Yeah, all right, give thanks, yeah?
Glorify, honor, and give thanks for the time, my lord, honor.
Yeah. Yes, that was Priest Rodolph BLA talking about this thing we're going up at the Bobo Hill. And you hear the brethren say it started out with a goat. A goat. Can't believe that? Which caused the destruction of the living quarters, solar system, documents from before. All of them youth that were fire gun before them did ban. Them documents they did for as history, proof, evidence of what transpired before and what's supposed to transpire. And it gone forever. Being gay. I tell you, serious thing. Very, very, very serious. As we figure it out, because it affects. You know the weirdest thing about it? The weirdest thing about it, is that you fight a system and there's certain people that control the system and the people them who you have fight for is almost them is your destruction. Yes. The people them who you lay down your life for, it's like them is your destruction. May I tell you, man, it's weird. It's weird. Because here we are, trying to put some fullness and consciousness in the minds and the hearts of the people. Them. And here we have people out there. I talk about society people now. I talk about normal little youth out there now that say, who that shot him down for more of a boy fire shots and lick him. You know them way there? Yeah, that's what them think. So them go ahead. Yeah. Terrible. But it not going to stop there. The struggle from continue. We have to do it. Yeah, man, it's in our bones and blood to do it. But it's just a heart-wrenching thing for know say the people them we have fight for is the people them sometimes destroy you, who destroy you. This is the cutting edge on RFM.
Christopher Columbus was not the first to discover the Americas, nor was he the first to realize that the earth is round. He was the first, however, in other exploits, namely genocide and the transatlantic slave trade. In 1492, Columbus discovered the Americas when he landed in Haiti and several islands in the Caribbean. The Arawak Indians inhabited these islands. For the second voyage to Haiti, the following year, 1493, Ferdinand and Isabella gave him the resources needed to subdue the population. When he returned to Haiti, Columbus demanded food, gold, and cotton thread, and was increasingly met with resistance. This resistance gave him the opportunity he needed to declare war on the Arawaks. With 20 hunting dogs, horses, and guns, Columbus set upon the Arawaks, tearing them up with dogs and mowing them down with volleys of bullets and running them over with horses. Reporting back to Queen Isabel of Spain, Columbus boasted, "In the name of the Holy Trinity, we can send from here all the slaves that Brazil will hold." The Spaniards hunted Indians for sport and murdered them for dog food. Columbus would reward his officers with women to rape. Girls 10 to 12 were especially desired for rape. Columbus and the Spanish won the war, and over 3 million Arawaks were killed in the genocide. They completely robbed the land of its gold. This is the truth about Columbus that's not recorded in your history books.
On the other hand, most Americans know today is Columbus Day, at least in 47 states, although Hawaii has renamed it Discoverers Day after the original Polynesians who populated that island thousands of years ago. South Dakota calls it Native American Day, and Alaska just ignores it like they kind of do everything. But what we're really celebrating today is Taino Genocide Day, the day when Christopher Columbus began to wipe out an entire indigenous population in a way that would even make Pol Pot blush. In 1492, Columbus was on a manic hunt for gold when he set sail and eventually landed on a small island off the coast of North and South America, an island today named Hispaniola, which is split between the nations of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. As Columbus wrote in a letter to the King and Queen of Spain, "Gold is most excellent. Gold constitutes treasure. And he who has it does all he wants in the world and can even lift souls up to paradise." But when he landed in what he called the New World, there wasn't much gold to be found. But he did find something he thought was just as good as gold: people, who, in Columbus's mind, would make great slaves. So he wrote to the Spanish monarchs, "They are well built, with good bodies and handsome features. They do not bear arms and do not know them, for I showed them a sword, and they took it by the edge and cut themselves out of ignorance. They have no iron. Their spears are made of cane. They would make fine servants. With 50 men, we could subject them all and make them do whatever we want. And here there are so many of these slaves. Although they are living things, they are as good as gold." What Columbus did to the island and the tragedy he brought to the native population there has been largely erased by time and replaced by a glorified story of a bold explorer who set out to change the planet. In reality, though, as a result of what we've learned from writings by Christopher Columbus's own men, he raped, pillaged, enslaved, and slaughtered people just to get rich. Not exactly the type of guy worthy of a Main Street parade. One of Columbus's crewmen, Miguel Queno, described the scene when Columbus first arrived in Hispaniola for the second time, and thousands of Tainos, or what were referred to as Indians, came out to greet the ships. Queno wrote, "When our caravels were to leave for Spain, we gathered 1,600 male and female persons of these Indians. For those who remained, we let it be known to the Spaniards in the vicinity that anyone who wanted to take some of them could do so to the amount desired, which was done." Queno went on to write that he took his own sex slave, a beautiful teenage girl who, in his words, quote, resisted with all her strength, quote, end quote, leaving him no other choice but to, quote, thrash her mercilessly and rape her, end quote. And when Columbus's men did good work, Columbus routinely presented them with their very own sex slaves. But that was just the beginning. Columbus eventually started up a global child sex slave trade, exporting Indians all around the world, as he bragged to a friend in a letter written in 1500. 100 castellanos, as the Spanish coin, are as easily obtained for a woman as for a farm. And it is very general, and there are plenty of dealers who go about looking for girls. Those from 9 to 10 years old are now in demand. Eventually, under Columbus's orders, life for the Taino on their homeland of Hispaniola became so bad that they resorted to mass suicide. As the Spanish missionary Pedro Cordoba noted in 1517, 25 years after Columbus arrived. As a result of the sufferings and hard labor they endured, the Indians choose and have chosen suicide. Occasionally, 100 have committed mass suicide. The women, exhausted by labor, have shunned conception and childbirth. Many, when pregnant, have taken something to abort and have aborted. Others, after delivery, have killed their children with their own hands so as not to leave them in such oppressive slavery. By the time Cordoba wrote those words, the indigenous population on Hispaniola had plummeted from roughly 3 million people before Columbus arrived to only 12,000 25 years later. A few decades after that, not one Taino was left on the island. An entire culture and people completely wiped off the map and largely forgotten, thanks to Christopher Columbus. Happy Taino Genocide Day.
REFM, thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
And I know. America changed the narrative, knowing what them know now. Them decide that them going to do something about it. So there's a lobby now to move that name, Columbus, there. Because a whole heap of people all over the world recognize the atrocity that was done by the so-called founding fathers of America against these people. So now they're going to change the name, and they're going to change the name. Of course they're going to change the name. They're going to change the name. The voice of the people, called Turtle Island. But we flash forward to here in Jamaica, and we recognize the importance of being African in a system that don't want you to declare that. Yet still, them have a man who born in Canada, have a Canadian passport, don't have a Jamaican passport, but him running for office in Jamaica and is recognized as a Jamaican because his parent were or was a Jamaican. Hear the logics. Listen to where them say. And when we say what we say, it sound like madness. But for them, things not sound like madness, you know. Our foreparents come from Africa. Him foreparents come from Jamaica. Well, we could say Jamaica. Because that them I deal with. The shortness of it. But him born somewhere else. So my parents come from Africa and me accidentally born in a Jamaica. But guess what? Me just say me a Jamaican because me never have a passport. And me never come here with no visa and no passport. But this man, him have a Canadian passport. And him have a next passport. Where is not Jamaican. But him is a Jamaican. Because his parent is Jamaican. And him belong to a Commonwealth country. Part of the British Empire. So how we become stupid and fool because we say we are African and we never born in Africa. Because Africa born in a we, according to Kwame Nkrumah. Africa born in a we. We never born in Africa, but Africa born in a we. And we know if it's a cow born in a pig pen, it don't make him a pig. It's your connection, heritage, your culture, and your history that define you. Your history, your culture, and your heritage. And our history as African people never start at Jamaica. Never start at Jamaica. Christopher Columbus cannot define we as a people. Can't. And that is what we are running after for how much hundreds of years now. That one little mercenary define we as a people. When we are going to stop it? When we're going to stop it? This continuous lie or mistake that was told over the years. You're going to have a big debate and arguments about Alex him name, this PNP man, if him is really, should he run in an election, and him did born in a Canada, or him is from British Commonwealth, him is not really a Jamaican, if you do this, that, all sort of argument going to come up. All sort of argument. And them don't set them law already. Who set the law? The British Empire set that law. That if you belong to a Commonwealth country and your parents is of the country that you are going to run into as any candidate of anything, you're a legitimate person. The problem with it is that this brother don't even have a Jamaican passport. And two more want to go win election, him a run down, they want to go get the passport. Quick. Him is not even a legitimate citizen of Jamaica. And when we say legitimate, we are talking about by the British standard of citizenship. I can't call them set it down for them. I refuse to make Britain in this time, given what I know now, I refuse to make Britain set down any stipulation that I must now declare that this is a logical way to go. I as an African, full stop. Full stop. I know descended from African. I as an African, other people descend from African. I as an African, full stop. Other people descend from African. And we hear people get up and say, we are descendants of African. I am not no descendant of African. I'm not going to declare that I am as an African. Other people descend from I. I understand my ancestral past long before history. And if I can use that genetic memory and formulate resistance and also retentions of my history, my culture, my heritage, my spirituality, I recognize the retentive element in the African people here that don't want to call themselves African, but prefer to call themselves Indian. And them don't know one thing about India. One thing them don't know about India, but them want to call themselves Indian because of Christopher Columbus. Terrible. Terrible. We have to realize how ridiculous it is in history. And these people set them things, not for the day or the 2 days after, but for hundreds or if not thousands of years, that people will come and recognize the mistake that they make and say it is true and follow suit. But here we know, we have sense. We have information now. And we have to use those information. And we have to use our head, our brains, and think. Think. Because the game have to change. Somewhere or another have to change. But the game can only change with the truth. And the truth will set you free. Because the lie never set you free. The lie, pantapa lie, enslave you more and more and more. That's why we have people like Marcus Garvey come to recognize that, look up, politically, we need to come out of that binding. That's why the Rastafari Virgin them come. If you say, look at now, you have to see your divinity in humanity. Your divinity have to come from humanity. And if people don't find them humanity, them not going to find divinity. Because divinity don't exist outside of human beings. Because it's human being consciously or unconsciously create that. What them call divinity. To show themselves on a higher level than them just being on earth here. We have to find that. And the only way that we can find that is to recognize that what we were taught over the years is a lie. And the only reason why it sounds logical is because it keeps reverberating in our ears and it be repeated in books, it's repeated in movies, and we ears hear it and we eyes see it, and we can't live outside it. Most black people in Jamaica, if them never have the Bible in front of them, them wouldn't have no spiritual consciousness, because every time them talk about divinity, them have to refer to the book. Them have to refer to a book. When our ancestors refer to divinity, we refer to life and nature and what surround we. What make you eat. What give you breath. What nourish you, the water from the rivers, the air, the fire that eat, that cook your food and keep you warm, the flowers, the birds, the bees, the maca, and all the things, them positive and negative that go with life and nature, and the oneness and the connection of nature that surround we. We find ourselves in it. Them tell us, say, God in a we, but it's we in a God. Because the so-called omnipotent, omnipresent being cannot be up there and go and come down here. If he is up there and go and come down here, that means him is not down here. That means him is not omnipresent. It's that simple thing. Because we grow up to say God is omnipresent. That means him there everywhere at the same time, everywhere. But yesterday you say God will come from out of the sky. If God will come from out of the sky, he's not down here. So he is not omnipresent. We are declared that this idea of God is a ridiculous idea, and what we are talking about now, if you want to call it God, is everything. Everything. They have a word where them called pantheism. Everything. So when we look on the next one, we say, it's I and I. I and I. And everything connected. And because we lose that connection, because we are looking for something other than. We disrespect the other than. Terrible thing. Christopher Columbus. That philosophy. Terrible, terrible, terrible thing. Cutting edge. RFN.
Christopher Columbus was the ISIS of his day. He justified rape, murder, and pillage with religion. And he funded his efforts with whatever he could steal. Today, while millions across America are celebrating Columbus Day, the city of Seattle is celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day. That's because last week, the Seattle City Council unanimously passed a resolution to honor the contributions and cultures of Native Americans on the second Monday of October. While Seattle's decision may seem unusual, it's actually part of a growing trend. Many cities and states across the country have shifted away from celebrating Columbus Day, and that's because more and more Americans are learning the real history behind Christopher Columbus and his so-called discovery. First of all, Columbus didn't actually discover the Americas, despite what you may have been taught in elementary school. Thanks to archaeological evidence, we now know that there were many other groups from Europe who traveled to the Americas long before Columbus did. For example, back in the 10th century, the Vikings had settlements in what are now Greenland and Newfoundland. And DNA evidence proves that Polynesians came to South America almost a century before Columbus sailed the ocean blue. So Columbus's discovery of the Americas really wasn't a discovery at all. But enough about the discovery. Let's talk about the man himself and what he did to the indigenous people who he found when he arrived in the New World. When Columbus set sail in 1492, he was on the hunt for gold to bring back to Europe, and eventually landed on an island known as Hispaniola, which today is the home of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Unfortunately, Columbus didn't discover much gold on Hispaniola, but he did find something as good as it, if not better. Human beings, people. And Columbus thought that the indigenous people that he discovered would make great slaves. When Columbus discovered the Taino indigenous people of Hispaniola, he wrote back to the Spanish monarchs funding his voyage, saying that they are well built with good bodies and handsome features. They do not bear arms, and they do not know them. For I showed them a sword, they took it by the edge and cut themselves out of ignorance. They have no iron. Their spears are made of cane. They would make fine servants. With 50 men, we could subjugate them all and make them do whatever we want. Here there are so many of these slaves. Although they are living things, they are as good as gold. Over time, Columbus's real actions in the Americas have been replaced by a warm and fuzzy coloring book story of a bold and brave explorer who set out to discover a new world. But in reality, as we have learned from writings of Christopher Columbus's own men, the bold explorer raped, pillaged, enslaved, and slaughtered people just to get rich. One of Columbus's crewmen, Miguel Bueno, wrote about the scene when Columbus arrived in Hispaniola for the second time, and thousands of Tainos, or what he referred to as Indians, came out to greet Columbus's ships. Cuneo wrote, "When our caravels were to leave for Spain, we gathered 1,600 male and female persons of those Indians. For those who remained, we let it be known to the Spaniards in the vicinity that anyone who wanted to take some of them could do so to the amount desired, which was done." Bueno also wrote that he took his own sex slave, a beautiful young girl, who, in his own words, quote, resisted with all her strength, end quote, leaving him with no choice but to, quote, thrash her mercilessly and rape her, end quote. Columbus eventually started up a global child sex slave trade, shipping off young Indians to all corners of the globe. He even bragged about it to a friend in a letter written in 1500, saying that 100 castellanos, it's a Spanish coin, are as easily obtained for a woman as for a farm. And it is very general, and there are plenty of dealers who go about looking for girls. Those from 9 to 10 years old are now in demand. Under Columbus's rule, life for the Taino people became so bad that they resorted to mass suicide. 25 years after Columbus had arrived in Hispaniola, the Spanish missionary Pedro Cordoba wrote that as a result of the suffering and hard labor they endured, the Indians choose and have chosen suicide. Occasionally, 100 have committed mass suicide. The women, exhausted by labor, have shunned conception and childbirth. Many, when pregnant, have taken something to abort and have aborted. Others, after delivery, have killed their children with their own hands so as not to leave them in such oppressive slavery. Eventually, Columbus resorted to wiping out the Taino altogether. Prior to Columbus's arrival in the New World, scholars placed the population of Haiti, Hispaniola, at around 1.5 to 3 million people. By 1496, it was down to 1.1 million, according to a census done by Bartholomew Columbus, Christopher Columbus's brother. By 1516, the indigenous population was at 12,000, and by 1542, fewer than 200 natives were alive on Hispaniola. By 1555, every single native was dead, every last one. Knowing what we know now about Columbus's real intentions and actions, it's pretty ridiculous to be celebrating a man who didn't actually discover anything and who kicked off a genocide of historic proportions. If Columbus was robbing, raping, and pillaging Western Hemisphere island nations today, we'd probably be bombing him from the air. It's time to put the shameful history of Columbus and his enslavement and murder of Native Americans behind us, and instead start celebrating the indigenous peoples who called the Americas home long before Columbus ever set sail.
Yeah, this is the cutting edge, and I want the people them to know that there is a statue in Jamaica, in St. Anne here, of Christopher Columbus. There is a statue in St. Anne that is Christopher Columbus statue. We still need the consciousness to step up. Cutting Edge and IRFM, we're having a Columbus program here because in America, a lot of people recognize the stupidity of celebrating Columbus Day. We must understand and realize the stupidity of calling ourselves West Indians when we are Africans. Because of the said man we named Columbus. Just like when call the people them Indian in America when them is not Indian. And we as Africans is not Indian, but we refuse to recognize the stupidity of the whole notion of being a West Indian. We have a group of people, a group of island that the majority of them come from Africa. But them have in this quagmire of misunderstanding that we is based upon of the little island over there, we is that island and we is this island and we is that island. Forgetting our history, our culture and our past. And also the things them that make us get so difficult is the rape of our ancestors to bring us to this point now where you have people who say them have mixed blood. Therefore, them don't know which part to identify with. That is a confusion within a certain people. And most people are let up with them half, the other half were in Europe. Because them know want to DNA tests. I go out now where you can't trace which part your actually ancestors actually come from. And most of you, I guarantee you that most of you who can trace our past to Europe. The reason why that happens most of the time is rape. Rape. Them rape your ancestors. And it can't trickle down to we as now. So we have certain blood in our way. And then if it's not rape, is the need of our African women and men to get them life in a different thing outside of poverty. Because sometimes poverty forces you to do certain things where you never even have in your heart to do. Yeah, man. Poverty is a crime. And most people commit that crime against themselves. Poverty make a whole heap away. Sisters seek whiter pastures so that they can better them life. Likewise, our brethren seek whiter pastures so that them claim that them going to better them life. And the thing get topsy-turvy. Topsy-turvy. And you know the dominant power will always maintain the power. Because we seem to be not really setting our consciousness on the place where it's supposed to be set. Being African is a worldview. It's a worldview that African people must relate to for them survival. Must relate to that for their survival. Because we must be free and we must get, you know, the question asked, when will we be paid? 2 songs, one is a poem, one is a song. The man said, where's Fim 40 acre and a mule that was promised so much years? And since him never get it, now him start to multiply the years and the days them and how much mule and how much acre him supposed to get in at this time, yeah. 40 acre and a mule was promised. And then the next song say, when will we be paid for the work we've done? A long time them thing they talk about. Them use a word now named reparation for all those things, but those songs was from a picnic. The question is asked, where's the reparatory money? And now we just attend a conference up at the university there. We are question and I do something and trying to make people understand it is a very important thing. That people who used to hear Rasta talk these things and call we that and fool, it's them no claim, so them edit all these things and I edit. But it don't matter who edit, as long as they work that is supposed to be manifest, is manifested. Because if it not manifest, judgment and those who set themselves as leaders and don't carry out the will and the working of the people. So we're going to play this song again because it relates to what is going on at the university right now. For 3 days, I think tomorrow is the last day, today is the last day of it. We're going to play this song for all those who listen to it again.
When will we be paid for the work we've done?
You know, speaking of this, I want to remember Jalide. This is the only song Jalide ever has to play. From them time that, you know, every time him call him say, I want to hear a tune, or this tune I want to hear, all the while. So I want to hear up Jalide. Him pass away, but we still hear him up, you understand? Yes, because we know, say, that consciousness of Jalide still resonate in a whole heap of Rasta. That is why we say we want to hear up Jalide, because when I want hear we say that, who's living will know what we're talking about.
When will we be paid for the work we've done? When will we be paid for the work we've done?
We have worked this country from shore to shore. Our women cooked all your food and washed all your clothes. We picked all your cotton and laid the railroad steel. Worked our hands to the bone at your lumber mill. I say,
when will we be paid for the work we've done? When will we be paid for the work we've done?
We fought in your wars in every land to keep this country free, y'all, for women, children, and men.
Just take these chains away and set me free.
Continent with Mutabaruka. We are listening to now all our meds. You know here, continent, the end, the end.
Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. So they want us to think stupid. So they want us to feel stupid. That's how they want us to be. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. So they want us to think stupid. So they want us to feel stupid. That's how they want us to be. That's how they want us to be. They've been celebrating all these days. They've been celebrating all these days. So what about the slavery days? So what about the slavery days?
Yes, yeah.
Greetings, Moto. How are you doing?
Blessed.
All right. So I had an incident today with a student. I'm an educator, right?
Yes.
And so the question was, majority of the people who live in Jamaica belong to the which ethnic group? So the choices were African, Indian, European, and Chinese. And he put European. So I was
Who put
going
European?
He put European.
Or one student?
One student.
Okay.
So I said to him, like, what do most of us come from? And he looked at me strange. So I said to him, what are most people in Jamaica? Like, what color? And he said, brown. I said, that wasn't really the answer I was looking for. Most of us are black. So then most of us would come from, and like he just couldn't tell me. So I had to tell him Africa, you know? And so even then there was a question after that had the maps, and it asked to identify Africa, and he's like...
No, but wait, why, you never asked him why him say Europe? Why most Jamaicans come from Europe? You know?
No, I didn't ask him that, because I guess I was in total shock. that he would say that in the first place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe because of how I was brought up.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I was very, very young, and I said to my mom, I'm brown. And she told me right away. She's like, no, you are not. You're black. And so from that early stage, I had a black consciousness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I never got caught up in the browning.
Black thing, yeah.
Right. You know, we're just all black and that's just it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I really like what you're saying about the whole West Indian thing. Maybe we should all say we're West African.
No, we can't say we're African. We don't have to say we're West, because some did take them. Remember, them take a whole heap away from all Mozambique, you know.
Right.
Mozambique, it's where Columbus did go. Angola and all these places we talk Portuguese, because the Portuguese them first go down, they got to take out Africans out there. As well as Europeans. The Europeans first people them who go down there was the Portuguese during Columbus time, you know. So we don't really have to talk about West, North or East, you know, we're African, you know.
Right.
Yeah, you know, but
right.
I'm really interested to find out why the youth say Europe though. After I ask about most people in Jamaica, I'm really interested to find out why him say Europe.
Well, I guess I could ask him next week, because I have him 3 times a week.
Where him live?
I don't know, but he goes to a primary school.
Which part of primary school there? Which part is there? Don't tell me the name. Which part is there?
Kingston 17.
Well, yeah, but baffled. I remember Kingston 12, but Kingston 5. Which part Kingston 17 there?
I couldn't tell you, but that's what's on his
Yeah, I know.
Me
look for the map and which part. Well, Kingston 17. Tell me which part Kingston 17 there.
No, I don't have a clue.
No, not you.
Oh.
You know, Kingston. Look for me now which part Kingston 17 there. Just look for which part Kingston 17 there. I am totally ignorant of that. My knowledge of Kingston go to 12.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think it's close to downtown.
All right.
I
We'll
think
find
so.
out, though.
But I'm not totally sure.
All right, but no, ask him and please come and tell me again whether half or an ear, do. Yeah?
Okay, will do.
Harbour View. She said Harbour View.
Harbour View.
Harbour View at Kingston 17. All right.
Okay.
Give thanks.
All right.
Yes. All right, sir. May I tell you? She asked, the question she asked, look at you say Europe. Is that very interesting? Maybe it might be deliberate. I don't know. Maybe it might be deliberate, but I'm very deliberate that.
Hey. So they want us to think straight. So they want us to feel stupid. That's how they want us to be. Hey. So they want us to think.
Yeah, they want to think stupid. Yes. Hey. Yes, ill.
Hey. Hi.
Blessed man.
You know, today I was in school displaying and narrating some artifacts, and was the children, some of the youth, them are, actually was saying this, they are Jamaicans. Mm-hmm. This little girl said then, my grandfather was white and my father is black. So who that makes me? Mm-hmm. Where did I tell that little girl, Samota?
When would I tell her, say? Would I ask her where she thinks she is? Would I ask her where she thinks she is? Since her grandfather...
Yeah, that's what I say. I say, who you think you are? She said, I don't know. But she was on the more lighter side of black. But that is the perception of what this...
Well, that is what the thing we just mentioned, that they mix up the thing and then confuse the thing more.
Right.
Yes.
And even Britain, England, where most, if not all of our laws have to come from. They and we make Jamaicans, as they are calling themselves, feel so well because them born here, they are Jamaicans. When they were born in Britain, then deport them come to Jamaica and say they are not citizens, you know. And yet, them I tell you say because you were born in Jamaica and you are Jamaica. So that them are even not confuse the things same way because them don't accept the persons who born there by Jamaican, so-called Jamaican parent to be citizens of England. And yet them I say when you're born here, so you are not African, you are Jamaican. And them don't accept the ones that were born in England to be English.
No, you
can't. Another
be
thing that
I
think about is...
You can't be a British citizen.
Yeah, but not just because you're born there. If you're born there from Jamaican, as they call them, parent, they don't accept you as being Jamaica citizen, English citizen without you apply.
You can't be a British citizen, you know.
But you have to go through application for it.
If your parents is Jamaican and you're born in England, you can't be a British citizen. You get
but it's not automatic.
No, automatic, but you can't be British citizen. Just like how the brother is a Canadian, he have a Canadian passport, he have a Canadian citizenship.
But he was born in Canada.
Yeah.
But he acquired his Canadian citizenship. It was not given to him indefinitely. So because you were born here, that makes you a Canadian. Another thing is Columbus and the discovery of Jamaica. Why is it not accepted or should not be accepted that he discovered Jamaica? Why is it not accepted or should not be accepted that he discovered Jamaica or the West Indies?
Well, he discovered Jamaica to the Europeans, but he never discovered Jamaica because people there for a long time they are discovered.
Yeah, but to me the word discover means to bring to one's own knowledge. Yeah? And you discover land.
But a film knowledge, that's not my knowledge.
Well, I him claim that.
Yeah, but we accept it. We have to refute the idea that Christopher Columbus discovered discover this land.
No, I've never discovered iron because...
No, when I say we, I mean like the Taínos and the land itself.
No, but if him come here and it was brought to his knowledge that there's a land here, he would have discovered the land and whoever on the land.
No, the
and
point...
one place can be discovered more than one time by more than one person, you know.
No, the point is that this discovery that Columbus brought to him attention is used as a discovery of an area that everybody who lives in that area now says him discover it. Him discover it.
No, but I am saying it was in his right to claim that because he never know it is a new land has gone to at least one partner of the tape where me hear that.
Yo, if you come see some people there and say you discover it. You discover it by where you discover it when other people was here. You discover it, because say you discover it for yourself. But when you discover it for yourself now, 400 years after, you discover it for me. And you discover it for everybody else when we reach us up. You discover it for them. That is the problem that people have with this argument about Christopher Columbus discovered Jamaica. Christopher discovered Jamaica for him. But we now say discover Jamaica is for we too. He never discovered it for the Taínos.
No, because they already discovered it are inhabited already. But
them write it in such a way that you will never know that when Christopher Columbus come here, so other people they discover it already.
Right, well, that is the problematic part of it where we now go accept.
Yeah, we came before Columbus. There's a book by Ivan Van Sertima named We Came Before Columbus. The same passage where the hurricane them take for reach Anyaso. This king of Mali go in a boat and the same wave or the same whatsoever carry ship carry him come over this part of the world. Long before Columbus come here. Long before Columbus come here. So the argument
the part where make it totally unaccepted is that him giving the impression say him discovered no one was inhabited in it, no one was here, and him make it to what it is. That's the impression him give where that have to get born out.
The impression where I give is that him discover it and we come and now come accept him discover it for we.
Right.
So we now must give homage to him because him discover all of this thing.
The statue of him in St. Anne.
Yeah.
At the library, yeah?
No, man.
At the park, Columbus Park?
No, it's in front of the entrance where you go to Marcus Garvey School.
And what grounds they then put that up there? That he has...
What do you mean? It's memorial. It's a monument to Columbus.
To celebrate his discovery.
Every statue is a monument to something or someone. Yeah. What we call intention or life, history. Christopher Columbus statue is there because Christopher Columbus is the first person to discover Jamaica.
So why are we so silent about it? Because a lot of one just hearing for the first time tonight because they say it,
It's not the first I say it, though.
Yeah, but some who just listening for tonight, true. I know that it exists, but...
You know that why you say that, give me good argument for say, that's why we must keep repeating the same thing, them.
Yeah, because repetition is the best way of teaching and learning,
Eh? Yeah,
repetition is the best way of teaching and learning.
Yeah, Marcus Garvey said that.
Right, so these are the things that must be repeated
over and over.
Yes, because we are too silent on it. Because even that Marcus Garvey statue that was to take down, our plan to take down, is the same way we have to approach Columbus, because we are accepting that he is the one that caused us to exist, and he is the one, and we are actually celebrating the onslaught, the murders, and all them things that we then commit. If we have that statue there and celebrate the day,
And see, them have changed it in America now, from Columbus Day to indigenous people day. They might change that. Because
people eyes are opening up and accepting the truth. So why are we still lagging? But it's a vehicle that they have to drive to get it done in a motor, because it needs a one at the driver's wheel.
Okay.
So the eye is at the wheel, and we all will be on the bus with the eye.
All right, sir.
Yes, thanks.
Give thanks. Yes. Truth him attack. We should have make more nice about it. It's true. Christopher Columbus statues have no significance and relevance in Jamaica, given what we know now about the onslaught and the genocide that this man created. Then why we think stupid.
So what about the slavery days? So what about the slavery days? They've been celebrating all these days. They've been celebrating all these days. So what about the slavery days? So what about the slavery days? Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. So they want us to think stupid. So they want us to feel stupid. That's who they want us to be. That's who they want us to be. They know that.
Yes, Cotton Edge.
Muta.
Yeah, blessed.
Yeah, man.
Aye.
Hey, Christopher Columbus thing. Which part of Jamaica is first place in land when they come?
Them say outer Discovery Bay there, right? Which part them put the park?
And
little
then
before them put the, look, not at the park, you say. Yeah, there, I can tell you. You see which part
Santa Gloria.
Eh?
No, Santa Gloria.
No, I don't know where them name. I'll tell you exactly which part them send the land. You see, when you come past the gas station before you turn up to Brownstone.
Eh?
But, all right.
Columbus Park, where you talk, when you pass out where the ship then come in the backside.
It's where the ship them come out the backside?
Before
you reach this up. Before you reach this up.
Yeah.
Little before you reach this part of the ship.
Yeah.
There's a little corner with them mark,
Yeah.
But them put the park after you pass the backside area.
Okay.
Then after you pass the backside, now, on your right, going to, like you go mobile area, on your right, after you pass the backside, ship them, Columbus Park there. So, but before you reach the backside, which part of the ship them there? The ship,
I think that was schema sitting over.
On the right, it there, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what them say. That's what them say.
But why I say that, I check say why they started down there, so I told them I say I down there here at the inland first. Santa Gloria or whatever they call it.
I don't know why.
Before they
That
call
is
it
possible too. That is possible too. But over the years, that is the part where I talk about is the part where I hear say him did land. You know,
when you start, when you did start, it kind of goes off later on. But anyway, when you did start, you talk about the Silk Road.
From Afghanistan, yeah.
Yeah, but you left one of the more. You left out one of the more important trade, right?
What?
Cultural exchange.
Oh, okay.
And learning.
Yes.
And learning, because the Moors that transfer for them knowledge, and them that get knowledge from China at the same time. Them a transfer knowledge.
Knowledge, okay.
Them a get knowledge from India. Yeah, because that's no things are through that route. Well, no, I think after the Moors they go and capture a piece of China, I think then they come back with gunpowder. Some of the Chinese them.
Yeah, them say, and then them say Marco Polo discover gunpowder.
Yeah, gunpowder and paper and them.
But you know, them say Marco Polo discovered the gunpowder though. I'm going to China go see it how you work, you know.
You go see it.
And putting a gun.
Yeah. Then see him like how him, what I want to name, Fibonacci, they go, and so one of them Arab country, and him come back with, when him see the Arab counting system. And him come back with that, that's how come the whole world start to use the Arabic numerals.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, understand. Everybody can start on the same page with counting.
Yeah, and Pythagoras discovered the Pythagoras theorem. And him go to Egypt, go study it for 20 years.
Yeah.
And come back, come say, is that name it after him?
I mean, yes, and him come up with the theory and data.
Yeah, but I know him data neither. That theory was used.
What is this? Here what him come up with? The Egyptian, them, you see?
Yeah.
Them used to have rope, a piece of rope.
Yes.
And it mark off some bump on it. One side, from one bump to the other is four units. From one to the next is 3, and from the next one to is 5. And then just put piece of stick, put a piece of stick in a piece of stick over the bump and draw it, and it turn into a triangle. And Pythagoras got that thing now about the 3, 4, 5 triangle there.
Squared plus
right?
squared equals.
Well, the 5 are the hypotenuse, where him say this side equal to the square. Square of this side equal to the square of this side plus this square. That's what him figure out. But the Egyptian them know it long time, but them never put the thinking on it. We say so and so and so.
Yes.
And to the Greek them at them time there. That's all them do is sit down and contemplate.
Him discover it.
And contemplate. So him work out and work out the ratio.
Yeah.
And I'm here to put it in a writing.
Yeah.
Seeing people them. But that's something them had a long time. Even pi. Them have pi work out long time before them,
build the pyramid, so them must know that mathematical
yeah, of
thing.
course.
You know? But then we come know. You see, boy, it kind of weird and sad because when you kind of know and you see the ignorance of the people them, and you say, but it's the right in front of the eye and you still reject it, Rasta. How that possible? You see the lie blatantly in front of you and you keep accepting the lie and putting more lie on top of the lie and expect to get truth.
Some people, if you not think, critically.
Yes.
And think about it, because you would you never ever stand up yet and think about somebody and somebody come to you right or whatever, look around and the person talk.
Yeah.
And then walk away. And you could have swear say, Tom just come and talk to me and Tom not come nowhere in the room, When you look around and say, John.
Yeah.
And your mind full a long time if you never look around and think about it.
Your mind can't carry you go anywhere you want to go.
All right, and your eyes do the same thing too.
Yes.
You understand? Well, the teacher, the lady we call the teacher, about the youth. You should ask, if the youth, when she asks the question, if I'm a Caucasian persuasion or if I'm black.
I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think so. I just like love to find out why are you to that so long. After she gave him so much options. They choose European, I mean.
You just other things I hear about European all the time, so you just come up with that one and say, I must get that.
Because them do experiment in America about dolls, black dolls and white dolls. And then put it in front of some black children, and every one of them choose a white doll.
Oh, yeah, blue-eyed.
Every one of them choose a white doll.
The black one too ugly.
Yeah, that is it. The black one definitely too ugly. But see, it's soaking away already.
Well, man, I tell you, man.
What?
But let me show you something now. With the same argument we were talking about with the Columbus thing and the discovery thing. Like I say, a children never qualify it all the time. That's the problem. No qualify, like I said, him discover it for the Europeans. You understand? So we all here read it now over the years until now everybody buy into it and believe it. Because the arrogance what they use, because them are the civilized people and them
are discover it,
and a pure savage way.
This is a fine when nobody never know about.
No what?
No, this is a fine when nobody never know about. Him find something when nobody never know about.
Then again, still, Monsieur, the best, one of the best, what you call the definition for discovery, Monsieur, it's a discovery is seeing what everybody has seen before, but thinking what no other person has thought. You understand?
Yeah.
But still, discover for them never know nothing. So everywhere they go, anything there, so I discover for them. But when we have a problem with that now, that means this is only 500 years since, and if we buy into it so much, imagine in that 1,000 years from now, if nobody else no point it out. You understand? Because things just like with one of our favorite subject, the Bible. Just like with the interpretation and when I'm doing it, the words that them use and the idioms that they use and stuff, and if you understand all the East, the people from the East, the Oriental mind, how it works. You can't
the language that it was written in
interpret.
The language that it was written. Can remember they never written in English language,
No, then do it not for them language.
Yeah, so the word where we talk you can't write a poem and make the poem sound like what you experience in the language of certain people.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah,
but it's amazing that them have, after 2,000 years, it's amazing that them have people, millions of people, sit down and wait for a man to come out of the sky to save them. It's just amazing.
I tell you. All right. How you thought this, All right. You remember Slim Smith? Yeah. Slim Smith sang about him getting too much resistance from behind.
Yeah. Watch that sound. Watch that sound.
All right. Yeah. It didn't name for what it's worth when they write it. When name Stills, the Buffalo Springfield or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. I have the original one,
Yeah. I thought. All right. Say, all right. Look on it now. When it starts out and say there's something happening here. What it is
exactly
clear, right? It said, there's a man with a gun over there telling me I got to beware. When he said, there's a man with a gun, what do you mean?
Tell me, man.
Remember, in the 60s, hippies time, right?
Yeah.
And what then called the police? The man.
Yes.
But if
telling me got to beware, I want you to stop children, watch that sound.
Watch that sound.
Yes.
So everybody look what's going on. But when they say there's a man, 1,000 years from now or 500 years from now, who are going to know say is a policeman talk about?
Yes.
And later down in the song, it's a what a field day for the heat.
Yeah.
Again, heat. Can you say 1,000 people in the street? Still is a poem where it turned to music. So the heat could have still be, because you have thousands of people out there, the heat. Some people are going to drop down. Right, but the heat, that's what I'm talking about the man up there, the heat to, I saw them call the police and I saw them call gun. When we are calling Nanko and sing the American, them call it the heat.
Yeah.
So you got your heat now your waist.
Yeah.
You understand? So you could have in the crowd did this up and a man can't miss.
Interpretation, believe you.
So you say, and I'm 50 years or so since that, right? And a man, and if you ask anybody, I know none of them couldn't dissect and tell us that it mean and that it mean. If you never I grew up in them time and know them phrases.
The conditions in which it was written.
All right.
The environment and the political ways and things. That is exactly how the Bible was written.
That same way.
Yeah.
And so when a man just go and just interpret word for word, bam, 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 kind of
And
what
so
he
like,
do.
it's like in the Bible, Jesus say, there are many here that shall not see death until the Lord return.
Yes.
That the man I talk about some people who stand up in front time, you know. He said, there are many here that shall not see death. And we come now and I say, but the Lord said, there's many who shall not die.
So it's one of two things. Either them people are still alive today.
Of course.
Or when they say, then come to pass.
Nothing come to pass. And it never come to pass because none of them not alive still. It's a reality that, you know, it's just a simple reality, you know. How can you interpret what a man said 2,000 years ago that people stand up in front time and the man said there are many here that shall not see death. And then you come now 2,000 years after and I say, yeah, but you must understand how the thing was written. How the thing was written. It was written exactly like what it said. There's many here means in front of me.
Yeah, but them spin it, I can't tell them want to be going on. In 1 minute, then tell us the week are 7 days, and next one you say it's a 7-year week.
And 1,000 years is one like 1 day unto the Lord.
And hey, as you talk that too, you remember what day when Mr. 66-year-old, did that tell us God give Dominica and them are beaten with the hurricane?
Yeah.
I like him, I say, but like I think you did that and said like, so what? How come what about the rest of the world? Like him, I say, I'm going to start this, so he might do that part, so then he might go do another part and so.
Is that Soka thing him and deal with Zoko or Zoso?
No, sure. God.
It's a Mount Salem thing God deal with.
Intervention that.
Yeah.
He
might do it by social business like, yes, all right, this part of you know, I'm going to destroy you, then destroy you, then destroy you.
Yeah. That's also.
What's that thing when the hurricane hit Jamaica? What happened?
Before me run to, young did that with you?
No, man, I'm not coming at them over. I say, man, never hear you talk about young in the night.
Any one of them, me want to speak one time, they say flies spread disease, right? So tell him, the man tell you, they say,
last time I call you, know, ask you a couple questions. It's a good little while back now still, you know. One of the things where it said to me was that as a youth we're trying to make you know, upliftment and trying to make a change, especially with the whole African mentality within the people, you know. One of the things that we need to think is knowledge. We go out there, we take a lot of premiums. We look for said brother we talk about.
Go up where?
You know. Eh?
Where say you go?
As in, we do a lot of research, I would have said. Yes, sir. So, you know, said brother we talk about, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima.
Yeah, we came before Columbus, yes.
Yes, man. Dr. Ben Buchanan, yes. And this other gentleman, he got blind in him later years, you know.
John Henry Clark.
Henry Clark. Yeah. Yes, man. Those three stalwarts, you know. To be honest, I watch them a lot on YouTube, and I would recommend any young youth for really go listen and taking them one day, you know.
Yeah, man.
You know, that's Ivan Van Sertima. You know, when we first listened to it, when him talk about how the Africans them were in South America, and him really break down, you know, how the civilization really come about, you know, in Mexico and all throughout the Americas, you know. And him even go and speak to how the educated people, you know, come with all type of gimmicks and foolishness to bring down, you know, certain little findings, you know. For example, the man make a statement, say, and find some bone in Brazil, and, you know, they said it was some black skeleton, and the people them say, no, man, is a Caucasian, but, you know, they made a journey down from the what I call it now, so the western side and the country come down, which was impossible, you know. And, you know, these things are there. The history is there. The present is here. Where, you know, President Trump and the NFL tell black man say, oh, they cannot stand for their own rights and they can't voice their opinion certain way, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right now, I listen to your program, Muta, I encourage you, you know. I know say you're motivated, you know, motivated by what yourself and your surroundings for really give to the people and the knowledge, you know. Yeah, man, and you know, would I like to step up to your level knowledge-wise where we can really show the people and, you know, statistics and proof and all of these things, you know.
Yeah.
And to all of the youth them listening, you know, man. Yeah, man, you see them 3 man down I talk about.
Yeah.
Listen, them is a good starting point.
Yeah, man.
A good starting point, man, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. And Mota, one more thing more I say to you, you know, your music, you know, your poetry, you know, I listen to some of the music where you play upon it, and I never heard them sing that before, and them fully inspirational.
All right.
You know, and more just make you know first and say, you know, just continue to work Mutabaruka, because trust me, you have a generations of youth that will come up, and we not stand for no foolishness.
Yeah.
May I read a book, I look in a little children's book there, and it says, in the book in Mutabaruka, that when Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas, right? The Amerindians there were aggressive towards him.
Yeah.
I read that in a book, you know, which is a children's book. I literally read that. It's a pity we never take a photograph of the book. But
well, I read that book when I got to school, so they carry them, they eat up, they are walk them.
Yeah, man. All type of story and, you know. So it's sad, but good give thanks to people like you know, and people who have spread the message, you know.
Give thanks, brethren.
Give thanks, man, because if I never feel the awakening on the experience, it's different.
Give thanks.
You know?
Yeah.
Man. So continue to work, man.
Yeah, man, as is. Yes, the journey continues.
Subject in school. We want a subject in school. We want a subject. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. These three brethren was one brethren. Split them apart. Before the system split them apart. We want a subject in school and campus. We want a subject in school and campus.
Yes, Burning Spear. Want a subject in school and Marcus. Yes, Ian.
Porter.
Blessed.
Where are you?
Cutting edge.
It's good though.
Well, we'll make it good.
I like what you asked still, you know.
All right,
but you want me no motor. Share similar sentiments, you know, and you know, so no matter what, me not left out the Bible, you know that though.
No, well, me no matter where you want to left out.
What you know? More the people may listen know, so you see, more than going at the 1611 King James Version Bible. I read one book where you call 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 39, go right about verse 45.
You have to talk slow, you know. You have to talk slow if you want them to do it, you know.
Motor.
Yeah.
Are the same people, man. The one of them indigenous people
indigenous.
yeah, man, in a US and all about in the Caribbean where Christopher Columbus them killed off. We're the same people, man. We're the same family of people, brother.
Mm.
You understand? When we do the history on Christopher Columbus, we find out, watch out now. The man was reading from the Apocrypha.
Who was reading from the Apocrypha?
He found out that it was prophesied that these people would have went out in further land.
Wait, hold on there. What you talk about now?
The so-called North American Indians and the so-called people.
Yeah, so what you say, who did I read the Apocrypha?
Christopher Columbus was reading the Apocrypha. Why you do some deep studies on him, brother?
All right, when him read the Apocrypha, what happened?
The Apocrypha tell us that these people went into a land called Ashereth.
Let me ask you a question. Where you get that information about Christopher Columbus that read the Apocrypha?
Wait a minute. It is in history, brother.
Eh?
Do the research on him. We do the research
on him. Hold on. Where you getting excited from? I never said it never happened. I ask you where you get the information from. Don't tell me you must do research. No? You are telling me about it, you know. So me ask, you know, where you get information.
I was actually doing some research on him on Google.
You Google that?
Yeah, man. I found out that the man was literally searching for the lost sheep of the house of Israel that left the land of Samaria.
You know what are the Hebrews like them? You read and I make them tell you that, you know, brethren.
Huh?
Are the Hebrew Israelite people them you read, not Hebrew Israelite?
No, when I talk one of Hebrew Israelite, brother, I tell the man, why, pray, you know?
Eh?
More you taking, I think that with Ian Boyne, it's actually.
Yeah, me hear them. Let me not hear them, but me I tell you.
Man, wait, man. You're not gonna believe, man. A whole lot of things.
Me not gonna believe.
From the people, I the same set of people in my fight in the hurt.
No, hold on, brethren. All right, brethren.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Columbus wanted to go to India.
Yeah.
Him never intend to come here. Him want to go to India. That is written in their writings, what them did write down. When the Spaniards, them will come here and write it down. Them did want to go to India. Them might look for easier a route for connect India because most people was going that route. You remember I started out by telling you about the Silky Road from Afghanistan to India to China. All of those places was where you call them that are doing merchandising and all these things. So now, what you are talking about is a group of religious youth, religious-minded people. I tell you now, for configure around the whole history of the thing again, for confuse the thing.
All right, Brianna. Yeah. How is it that we found in history and in the Bible is actually the same thing?
Which part of the Bible and history is the same thing?
Second Ezra chapter 13.
Read where it said. Tell me where it said. Read where it said. Read where it said.
Do I read it? Make you hear?
Yeah.
Motor. My Bible on my phone.
All right. So let me ask you a question now.
Yeah.
Because somebody writes something 4,000 years ago, and something look like it's something them right now, is them that write it, prophesy it?
No, but what I'm actually saying is that history match up with the Bible, Motor.
No. I ask you.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about history match up with the Bible. That means, you know, a man writes something 2,000 years ago or 4,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And when you look at what is happening now, you now refer it to the Bible.
Yeah, man, refer to the Bible.
All right, so let me ask you a question now. Is there any other book that you could have read, but when you read it, you see it match up to now?
No other book except the Bible. And that's the
reason. You mean no other book? You don't have no other book we are talking about future things and what will happen in the future? No other book about the Bible?
That was written so long, Motor.
Yeah, before the Bible, I mean so long, before that.
No,
you think the Bible is the oldest book?
Well, no, so the Bible is the oldest book, brother. We understand, but there are books that the Bible make reference to that were before the Bible, like the book of Joshua.
The book of Joshua was before the Bible?
Joshua.
You know what Joshua,
chapter 10, verse 13.
Which Joshua do I talk about?
No, I never said Joshua and Joshua, which are records that our forefathers written, and it actually where they compile it.
and it actually come down like Abraham. Each of these persons, when
Abraham is not a real
lifetime,
thing. The Bible tells us that Abraham is Brethren, the Bible tells us that Abraham's story is an allegory. You know what an allegory is?
No, that's what I'm trying to explain it to me then.
An allegory is something that you say to bring out a point, but it's not real. The thing is that what you're using to tell the story is not real.
All right, Muta.
Yes.
Did you know in Acts 13, verse 1, Peter and Barnabas was called nigger?
You see nigger in the Bible?
N-I-G-E-R, nigger, the root word for negro.
N-I-G-E-R is nigger?
Well, which means black. Did you know Peter was called
Brethren. N-I-G-E-R is nigger?
Research the word, believe me.
So the country when N-I-G, you know, so you have a country named N-I-G-E-R?
Well, Peter was called nigger.
Where in the Bible you see it?
Acts 13, verse 1, New Testament.
Read it.
Let me find it here. Just don't.
Let me play some advertisement. Let me play some advertisement. I'm not cut you off. No, I'm not cut you off. I'm going to play the advertisement. I'm not cut you off.
Yeah, man.
I'm not cut you off, brethren. I'm going to play the advertisement.
Yes, Mota.
Let me explain something about the word where you talk about.
Yeah.
You have a country in West Africa, you see?
Mm-hmm.
It named Niger.
Yeah,
N-I-G-E-R.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now, you are going to tell me now which part of the Bible says Niger, when we call him...
13 verse 1. We can read it.
Read it, yeah.
No, there were in the church...
Wait, hold on. Is that King James Bible you read?
Yeah, man. Acts 13 verse 1.
Okay,
man.
all right, yeah.
Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas. A matter of fact, there's a semicolon there. As Barnabas, and Simon, which is Peter, that was called nigger. And not only in Muta.
Hold on, brethren.
Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Tell me, read it again.
Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simon, that was called nigger.
What is the word that is there? N-I-G-E-R.
N-I-G-E-R. One of the people have
all right, and what N-I-G-E-R mean?
It means black.
No, brethren, I'll tell you. All right,
Muta. Before.
All right, wait. I'm going to deal with. So what that mean to you now?
It means a lot to me, Muta. What you know, just like what you are dealing right now. When we read Ezekiel 8 and verse 3.
Where you going over this again? We are reach and the nigger thing we are talking about, you know. Where you going over this so far?
Look here. Ezekiel chapter 8.
No, don't jump, Bridget. It's the people who read the Bible have a way for jump, and not say thing with them attack.
I saw me will show you.
Yeah.
Ezekiel was a Rasta man. Ezekiel 8 verse 3.
Ezekiel was a Rasta man.
No, wait a minute. And he put forth the palm of an hand and took me by a lock of mine head.
So just because I have locks, him is a Rasta?
Yes, Ezekiel was.
Hold on, Brethren.
Yes, sir.
Because the Bible says him have locks, it means he was a Rasta.
Well, I am telling you that most of the things that they're teaching us now in the churches are lies.
No, I asked you the question. Are you saying that because the Bible said them all Ezekiel by him locks, him was a Rasta?
Well, Mota, who actually wear lock? The Rasta man?
The Sadhus.
Mm-hmm.
The Sadhus. You ever hear about the Sadhus?
Yeah, no, I've never heard about
all right. Well, you know, go Google who the Sadhus. The Sadhus is a group of men in India where if you see them, you don't think to them is Rasta. Them don't know nothing about Rasta. Them smoke ganja and them wear locks.
All right.
You have a group of men in the 50s named the Mama. You ever hear about the Mama?
No, I never hear about
them. Them not in the Bible, so you're not going to hear about them. Them is a group of men who was fighting for the liberation of Kenya under Jomo Kenyatta. Them named the Mama. Them have a thing named the Mama uprising. Them did have locks. Them no Rasta. And everybody who locks in the earth are Rasta. Ezekiel, Rastafari is a phenomena that started with Emperor Haile Selassie I.
All right, Muta.
Yes.
If I can prove to you, brother, or even the gathering that I attend can prove to you that all the prophets inside of the Bible and the people is pure black people.
I never say no, you know. I never tell them I'm not black people.
Even the so-called Christ.
But I tell you something now. Say, whole heap of them is make up prophet. Them never live. Them never real.
Brother, you have said on many occasions that they are hiding our history. And I can show you in the book of Maccabees 3, verse 47.
You can't use the same book for validate the same book. You use the same book for validate the same book, brethren. Why are you use the same book for validate the same book?
I am proving to you.
You're not proving nothing to me because you use the same book for validate the same book.
No, look. And I don't even remember me.
Why are you must look for? You use the same book for validate the same book.
Mota.
You know what is an allegory? You know what is an allegory?
No, Mota. I don't know.
Okay.
Tell me.
But I did tell you already and you forget. I did tell you before you go to the break, you know, and you forget.
No, wait. Can I say something to you?
But you say a whole heap of things.
I agree that we are living in Africa. But in the land of Africa, it's a continent consists of over 47 different countries.
50
Which one of them do we come from, Muta? In the land of Africa, they speak over 57 different dialects.
No, more than that.
Yeah, okay,
in a Cameroon alone, them have 200 different dialects.
Over 1,500 dialects. Which one?
So what you say? What you say? What you saying?
We're the last people from the children of Israel from the
I know Israel. I know Israelite. I never last. I know Israelite. And tell me what kind of language the people them originally did talk.
Hebrew is Muta. I can prove to you that what we're speaking is Hebrew. Even the way you speak now.
No, I not talk Hebrew.
Broken Hebrew. Look.
I'm not talking no Hebrew.
But Muta.
But that's why I tell you, say, what you talking about come from Hebrew. So you tell me no. I tell you, say, the argument where you give me is when me hear the Hebrew Israelites with.
So look.
And you tell me about no.
Why do you believe that they don't go beyond the slave ship?
No, brethren, you must be honest, you know.
Muta.
Look here, you must be honest. Because when you start the argument, I say, that is a Hebrew kind of argument. And you say, no. When I bring it to you and say, your argument is based upon the Hebrew argument to me, what people the Hebrew them attack. But I say, no. So why you say no?
I am going to tell you this.
You try to show me off.
Look, you know, I might be an officer of the state, but I'm going to tell you, I believe beyond any unreasonable doubt that I am an Israelite.
Then I don't say enough to believe that. Then I didn't tell enough to believe that. Look here.
People believe.
But I never say enough to believe it. I say I am not an Israelite.
I'm going to tell you this, Muta.
I am not Israelite.
Reason that have brought me to the truth.
Brethren, you listen to me, I say? I'm not contradicting what you say about yourself, you know. I say Mutabaruka, so is not an Israelite.
But I am telling you that what you're doing now is what the Bible would have prophesied, brother. That you will be waking up the people.
So if me get up now, I'm going to toilet now. The Bible the prophesied say me go to the toilet too.
Music. Read Genesis 49 verse 27.
I'm not reading nothing. I've done read it already. I'm not reading anything. Because what you tell me now is something when I hear not talk about. Me hear the Hebrew Israelite version, me hear the Jewish version, me hear all the different versions. Me I tell you say, well, who sit on your so? If you want to be an Israelite for the rest of your life, be Israelite. If you want to be a pagan for the rest of your life, be pagan. You see me are no Israelite. I'm no pagan.
Mota.
Yes.
There is a Hebrew Israelite church right now.
I know where all of them, brethren. I have been to many of them all over the world. I've been to many of them. I have been to the Hebrew Israelites in Israel.
Look here.
Me and Tony Rebel go Israel, go sit down with them.
I am going to tell you this, brother. There is a church right now.
Where you try to convince? Where you try to?
No, I am not convinced.
You must pay for your advertisement if you want to advertise your church, man. Pay for your advertisement if you want to advertise your church.
No, look.
Oh, Hebrews are talk about church. Oh, Hebrews are talk about church.
No.
Hebrews don't have no church, them have tabernacle.
No, but you're still not hearing me.
Oh, you mean no. I'm not right here now because it's 2 o'clock and I have to go.
Right?
And I don't know why I don't come out after 1. I gone because I have to go. The man come from program. Give thanks. Here we go again, after one. It's like after one thing, you know. We are working after one, you know. So we give thanks for the moment, give thanks for the time and the energy. We want to be here again. We will be here again from 2 to 5:45 with the stepping razor, the art of war. And we hope that we did say something since 10 o'clock until now. And we did play something that could really inspire you to really investigate and analyze and to think. The best thing is to think. Information. That, brethren, I'm not saying anything to convince him of nothing. Him stuck and him still there, so good for him. Him can't change me when him come out to that. Him have to change me if he show me something when I can say yes. But don't change me with something when me hear a whole heap of man in America, some black man stand up a corner in America talk about some black man will come out and want to try do a thing out so. I've heard these things all over the place. I'm not new to it. And it's very, very disingenuous. Because I'm talk to me and I say, but those arguments is trouble me about the Hebrews, them I talk about, the Hebrews like the black Israelites, them I talk about. And him say, no. And then him come now and tell me about the Israelite, the black Israelite, them are Jamaican church. Oh, black Israelites have church. Black Hebrews are like Hebrew. Jews don't have church. It's Christian that talk about church. So the reality of it is that him say, I don't know, I can't talk about what him say, we're done. So you want to know. At your time, you know, I'm going to play about that tune and leave. Give thanks for the moment. And the black princess outside there. Eh? Yeah, the black. Oh my gosh, man. And she's pregnant now, you know. She looks so beautiful when she's pregnant. Oh gosh. I know you're going to have vex. Matrix. What kind of weapon thing you have print out in the fire Instagram thing? Eh? The man have some epistle writing of him philosophy, you know, both woman and who want, you know, like, me never know say you're philosophical, man. I have to bring you in for the cutting edge. Come talk, some of them, but you see your things, them X-rated. I only for your things, them X-rated. Me I tell you, them chopping, so me can't really bring you upon the program to talk about them, because you have to go say bluntly exactly what you're dealing with. But me never know you're a philosopher. Yes, man. I wonder if I can find somewhere where I'm right. So come and see a whole heap of them, you know, I should read some, anyway, too late to read them now, but we give thanks. Oh, your mother, man? Tell her, say, she still listen? Eh?
Not regular.
Yeah. She kind of want her rest now. And I like first time when she say, Muta, come on, make it turn on quick. All right. Okay. Yes. We could go back to this junior and say, out. Again, we got.